Hi
All
everyone.
right, hello. Welcome to our stream. Just going to clean up a little bit. I was just finished my makeup, so it's easier sometimes when I do my makeup beforehand, so we can talk more and I can be distracted less with the makeup. So one
That
person
room is
watching
a
so
little
far.
different from the thing. You can see more of the our junk over there on the couch.
Oh my! You know what? Hang on, I think I can fix this.
Is one of these mics
No, let me see. Let
on?
me just fix it like this. Whoa! Look at this, babe. Like a genius.
There we go.
Is that better?
Middle.
Oh, except for you can see this other.
Sorry guys.
All right. Got 35 people watching us adjust the cameras. Get our sodas out of the way, our refreshments.
Laura.
It's been a super busy day for us, but we're glad you guys are all here.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it's been a
thank
great
you.
day for you as well. Take all this down. Just finished up the makeup. Did kind of a rush job. I wanted to wear a different wig today, and I really wanted to wear this shirt. This shirt, I've been waiting to wear this shirt for a while. It's got these super fun sleeves on
It's
it.
so pretty.
And so,
Goes all the way around the back. It's really
yes.
cute.
So, super excited to be able to wear the shirt today. Hey, such a sweet response from our video, our pedicure spa day video we put out, and that was so fun to be there with my
Yeah, it was
girls,
fun.
just doing our deal. Now that was really exciting and special for us because we had planned on leaving our community to go out and do that, and we ended up choosing not to. Everybody was comfortable doing it here, right where we lived, and so we just went out and had a spa day and we're getting our toes done and having fun with the rest of the community, and it was super fun, and there was no issues whatsoever. Everybody was just so
Yeah,
respectful and so nice, and it was just a super pleasant experience.
yeah,
So
it was fun.
yeah, thank you for sharing in that
Thank
with
you
us.
guys. Hi
It was nice to
everyone.
it was nice to get a quick video, but it was even nicer to spend the time with the people that support me and make all of this happen. So thank you for all this.
Gotta get my phone.
There's Addie. Hey, you get a chair right
Hi.
there. Scooch you on up here.
What?
My name is Alyssa. This is my wife Andrea. We've been married for 25 years. This is our beautiful teenage daughter Addie, and she's also a TikTok genius. And her and a couple of our other best
What color
pals
of
are
toast
the
did you
reason
get?
that social media is even possible for us. So I got kind of a dark mauve color. So not really a dark Christmas color, but mauve, kind of a darker mauve, kind of going into
Hi
the spring
everyone.
colors and the Easter colors, and it was super fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It
It
was
was really
nice.
good.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, fast and furious.
What
But
does Addie call you?
Dad.
yeah, I go by
Yes.
dad. I'll always be your dad. There's no confusion in our house as far as the role that I play and the responsibilities I have. I'm just a prettier dad than some other dads. So I go by dad because that's who I am and that's how I refer to myself as well.
Yes. I love that. Some hate comments already, and that's okay.
Yeah,
We're
hey,
all happy that
hey,
you guys are here, and if you want to stick around and learn a little bit more, then
yeah,
you,
absolutely.
you might have fun.
It is interesting, that the loudest boos always come from the cheapest seats. That the people with the least perspective that have the strongest opinions. But stick around and we can help answer some questions that you have. So you're a little softer on your landing.
Alrighty. Several questions
Okay.
already.
Hmm.
How do you feel about Caitlyn Jenner?
Poor Caitlyn Jenner. I think Caitlyn Jenner is an inspiration. I think she gave up a lot to be her authentic self and to express the identity that she wanted you to know. You knew her as the world's greatest athlete, and as amazing and prestigious as that is, that's not how she wanted to be known. She was much more than that. She was capable of much more than that, and she risked it all so that you and I could start conversations like this, and we have at least a starting ground. So she at least opened up dialogue for the rest of us to continue that conversation. So I have so much respect for Caitlin.
Yeah. Um, curious if when you're out in town, do you refer to each other as husband and wife?
Um, yeah, I mean, who's this? That's my husband. This is my wife, or this is Alyssa. When I'm
Yeah.
dressed as a boy, I go by Kevin. My pronouns when I'm dressed as Kevin is he, and my
Hmm.
pronouns when I'm dressed as Alyssa is she.
Yeah.
And should you call me Kevin when I'm dressed as Alyssa, it wouldn't matter to me personally because I'm still dressed, and that's to me that's the most important thing. And but pronouns are very important to most people, including yourself. If somebody walked up to you and called you Chuck, when that doesn't mean anything to you, I mean that's disrespectful and it's weird. So use the pronouns that are comfortable for the people. Everybody gets to describe themselves. That's the good news. Everyone gets to describe themselves. So you know
We have a couple questions. When do you go by Kevin and when do you go by Alyssa?
I go by Kevin when I'm dressed as Kevin, and I go by Alyssa when I'm dressed as Alyssa. I go by Dad
And
all the time. Now I'm going to introduce myself one more time because I know there's a lot of people that are just joining us that weren't here a few minutes ago. But my name is Alyssa when I'm dressed, and this is my beautiful wife of 25 years, Andrea,
hello.
and my teenage daughter's back there
Hi.
um, playing safety, and she's in her teens and absolutely so amazing and supportive. So I left my career in middle management to create a career in gender awareness and identity support. So that's kind of what we're doing here is we're just making ourselves available so you could see kind of what we're going through and how we're going to tackle this. You know, I was able to dress very, very little until recently because our children just didn't know. We have three children ranging from 22 till mid-teens, and we didn't want to tell them before it was the right time, and so we held off till recently. So the time that I would spend dressed would be away from the house or when the kids were away or something like that. So I've spent really, as proportionally to my life, a very small percentage of my time dressed. However, as of just a couple months ago, I'm able to spend as much time as I want dressed, and that's been amazing. So it's not me just transitioning over 100%. It's me transitioning over at the speed and the rate of understanding and learning, of tolerance, acceptance. So I'm not trying to disrupt the lives of my own family. I'm trying to organically migrate those things in there when it's healthy for everybody and just let it organically unfold. So we're not here because we have the answers. We don't even know all the questions yet. We're here because we're willing to share this journey with you so we can go through some of the questions and answers together. There's 2.2 thousand people watching right now. There's 2,200 people right now. So
Thank you for the
let me ask
questions.
you this question while you're all here, because if you'll just answer this question, then we'll at least have a starting point. Let's say you're a parent of a 5 or 6 year old little boy who is so unhappy and so discouraged and treats himself terrible and not respectful and not responsive, not social, just an absolute unhappy child and dangerous to themselves. And the only thing that this little boy wants, the only answer that will let this person be happy and healthy and communicate is letting this person wear a dress. So you're the parent, you're watching this child just self-destruct with hardly any good relationship at all, and the answer is letting that little boy wear a dress. Would you do it? If you knew that that was
Hmm.
the thing that that child needed, with all of the stereotypes and everything else, but that is what, no medicine is going to work, no counseling is going to work. You put them in counseling, the counselor says, hey, look, this is a child who knows that they want to pick a different set of routines, that a different set of routines is what they want. And all you have to do is let them wear a dress. The question is, does this person have a right to dress themselves? Do you have a right? Do I have a right to pick out my own outfit in the morning? That's the question. Because if the answer is yes, we can work everything else out. But it's getting so convoluted because it's getting put in with so many other random things that nobody knows how to feel about it because they're lumping too many things together. Oh, this person, something sexual, this and whatever. You have to understand gender is who you go to sleep as, sexual orientation is who you go to sleep with. It's two different things. We have to separate those because how we talk about those is different. And what's applicable for one is not necessarily applicable to the other. So Now, if we're all in agreement that we're willing to do what we need to do for our children, and that child needs to go to school and learn, how do we handle that? How do we handle that? Because here's a child, it's your child, and you just want the most for this child that they could possibly be, and they want to wear clothes outside of the expectations for that everybody else has for them. Is it fair that your child should get to live outside those expectations? Is it fair that you have expectations for that child? That's really where we need to start is, do we have the right to pick out our own clothes? Is that a thing? And do we have the right to love who we love? If we can agree on those two things, and whoever doesn't agree on that should have those rights stripped from them. I should get to tell you who I want you to be and what I want you to do with society. But it's being lumped in, transgender and the gay flag and all of these things are just being all lumped together, which they're all special, but they need to be dealt with separately. Because what's going to happen is they're going to use transgender and gay and everything that's not common, and they're going to say, no, now we need to train this in the schools, and we have to have sex education about transgender and sex education about gay. That's ridiculous. It's going to get lumped in, and they're going, look, we're trying to represent you. We're sticking you in these bills. We're sticking you in these laws. But we don't need your corrals for protection. I don't need your corral. I already have the right to dress how I want to dress. So I don't need your corrals because I'll be protecting myself from you, for crying out loud. We don't need transgender laws because all of these things are different. It's another reason why I don't believe that transgender women should be able to compete with cisgender women in sports, because it's not about identity. It's not about gender identity. That's about achievement. And if we're going to talk about athletic achievement, then we have to take into consideration the puberty that was experienced that gave you those strengths and abilities. And a transgender person who went through a different puberty as the cisgender girls is going to have a clear unfair advantage some of the time, if not all the time. And we have to protect the competence of our young girls and and the young trans kids that are coming out. So I believe that you should only get to compete in physical, academics, or not academics, but athletics with those people who experience the same puberty as you. So, if we can all just think differently, we don't need new laws. We need new thinking, because if you can get that 5 or 6 year old child on the right blockers, then they're not going to have to experience the puberty that will forever make it so difficult to blend in and to wear the clothes they want to wear and to be the person that they want to be. So the reality is we have to separate all of these other things and not let them convince us that there needs to be special laws and rights and whatever else. No, I already have the rights. My kid's going to wear something different to school than you thought, so accommodate that. There's already special bathrooms, right? The Disability Act ensured that already. So people with special needs already have a private bathroom. And that's the bathroom that I choose to use if I'm alone, for sure. But those accommodations have already been made. And so for those people who are comfortable, use the private bathroom. And for those transgender people who are comfortable going in the regular, ladies' bathroom, go into the ladies' bathroom. And if you're uncomfortable with that, well, then get in line with me at the private bathroom. I'll be there anyway. Why don't you be willing to do what you want everyone else to do? So if you're unhappy with that, you stand in line for the family bathroom. That's okay. That's not a problem at all. But everybody gets the right to be happy and healthy and describe themselves for what they're capable of, and not try to meet anybody else's expectations. But the only difference between my thinking and everybody else's thinking is proximity. That's it. Just proximity to the issue. It's easy for you to sit back and say, no, we can't let that child wear a dress, until it's your child who's suffering like that. And then you start to think, wait a minute, what is the absolute worst thing that happens with my child wears a dress?
It's not a disability. That's not what she's saying.
Yeah.
She's not saying that. She's just saying that she can use that restroom if she needs to.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Is this a mental illness? Well, I don't know. My gosh. How long would you be forced to represent something that didn't represent you and you still be mentally healthy? How long? If you had to wear a clown suit for a whole week, how long before that would affect your mood because you knew everybody was misjudging you? How long would you last like that? Would you be healthy for a week, for a month, for a year? How about 20 years? How about 40 years? Is it a mental illness? Yeah, I like you to think of it that way because it means that there's health that can be had there. The problem with the mental illness is that it also implies that it can be cured, and there's no cure. There is no cure. There is no shocking. There is no therapy that suddenly has somebody say, you know what? All of a sudden, I don't have these capacities and these abilities. All of a sudden, I'm going to bury my talents because nobody else gets it. So,
There's a lot of people asking questions,
okay.
and I don't want to interrupt her as she's speaking. So it's not that I'm ignoring you. Just know that I'm not interrupting her. So
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so let me make one quick go back as far as why I say puberty is the cutoff, because so much of our muscle mass and the bone density and the way that our structure forms happens at puberty, through puberty, with the chemicals that are released in our body in puberty. Hormones, as you already know, govern everything about the body. And if your hormones are off, your weight is off, your attitude's off, your outlook is off, everything is off. So that's why the only medicine for a transgender person, which helps them almost immediately, is hormones. And once they get on the right hormones, which I've been on hormones for, about 6 years or 7 years, and it was so, it's been the most amazing thing ever. I say that hormones are for my mental health, and these clothes are for my happiness. That's kind of how I see it. But there is no being happy without being steady on hormones. That's for sure. How about science? How about we're just men and women? Cool. So let's take those two things, and I want to play the other role. Is that okay? Do I get the right to decide which set of routines I want to engage in every say? Do I get the right? There could be men and women. I want to be the women part. So do I have that right or do I not have that right? Because outside of making love to me, it doesn't matter. Anything else doesn't matter. What matters is, do you want to have a relationship or a friendship or a business relationship with me? And what's the most, comfortable thing that we can refer to each other as? It shows the most respect. You not willing to call me she, that's not a reflection of what I'm capable of or what I'm feeling. It's a reflection of your character and your upbringing. That's the only thing that's reflective of. It's just a more comfortable experience if what is comfortable, and respectful for me. But I'm not here to trick you. I'm here to have the best experience with you, possible.
Well, thanks again
Thank
for
you.
the crowns.
Thank you for that.
Hi, everyone. Again, thanks for joining us. Thank you for the cute finger hearts.
Science, we don't get, I'm not going to get into science because it's just too broad and it's too general. It would be really easy for people to say, well, listen, if you've got an XX chromosome, then you need to go in the women's restroom. That's the bottom line. But here's the problem. Not all women have XX chromosome. That's the problem. So all the ones that don't, do we just tell them they have to use the men's? There's a lot of men that have XX chromosome. So what do we do with them? They have to go into the women's restroom and prove to you the chromosomes they have. Why is their chromosomes important? Because that's not what determines gender anyway. It's not even the chromosomes like we all thought. And there are actually little things in the chromosome called the gamete. So it's a completely different deal. But most of us don't know that there's a lot of people, a lot of men that have an XX chromosome, and a lot of women that have an XY chromosome, XYY. Right? There's so many combinations that we're just barely learning. And so to dictate my life or to govern my life. I love them. Those are the best. But to govern my life with science, get out of here with that. I'm not waiting for science to be able to prove or disprove or catch. Science can't catch up with where we are as a people, with where we are genetically. It's not keeping up. So are we supposed to put everybody on hold until they can explain this? That doesn't make sense. That's crazy. We have little 5 and 6 year olds that need to learn how to read right now and learn how to do math right now. We don't have time for science to convince you that individual needs to be loved and accepted, and they need a community, and they need to grow and have the same opportunities as everybody else. That's not a science thing. This is a human thing.
Where's our moderators?
8-year-olds should not be taught about sexuality from a teacher. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Keep all sexuality out of school. And it's going to get pushed in there with, look, we're going to recognize the trans people and the gay people, so we're going to, to recognize them, we're going to put them in these books, of little cartoon porn, all that crazy stuff. That's ridiculous. They're not protecting us. They're distracting us. This doesn't need help. This doesn't need rules. I already have the right to pick out my own clothes, but it would sure be easier if a lot of you would calm down and just be okay with that. That's all it is. I choose a different set of routines than you think I should. Big deal. Well, are we going to let everybody? I was watching a small clip was sent to me of a Dr. Phil show where they had people identifying as different things on there, and this guy going off.
Thank you for
and
that.
It's like, what is this? What is this big mix? There's somebody who identifies as an Asian. There's somebody who identifying as a woman. I don't know what else was there. It wasn't a very long clip. And I'm like, well, what are we talking about right now? The only thing that's important is gender identity. Nothing else. Okay, if you identify with an Asian, then great, wear those clothes, and I respect that. And tell me how you like to be referred to, and most of all, give me all the ancient, Eastern wisdom that impresses you. Let me learn from that too. Let me grow with that too. I don't care if those things resonate with you for one reason or another. So he wants to say homosexuality and furries and identifying like a walrus and gender identity. He wants to lump those in the same category, which is insane. That doesn't make any sense at all. There's only two social roles that are really available, and that's a male and a female. So when one of them wants to play the other one, that's called transgender. It's not trans squirrel or anything else. So, keep it straight. We're talking about, okay, we've got a chemical burn, a sunburn, and an Indian burn, and we're going to treat them all the same. We're going to put them all in the same category, and we're going to protect everybody by, taking away everything potential of doing any of these things. None of that makes sense. Separate it. We don't need, transgender girl in sports. We don't need that. We don't need special laws protecting me. Those laws are already in place. If you do something bad, you go to jail. If you do something disrespectful, I simply won't communicate with you. And more, a lot of people won't either. So we have old thinking, and we need, new thinking for new people, because genetically we're simply not the same people as we were before. I live in a good time because, I was close enough with my grandfather and my father, and even though my grandfathers are not around, I still was close enough to understand their story and their experience and their history and their culture and their viewpoints. And now I have kids who have kids, right? This is 5-generation view that I have right now. And I can kind of understand both sides. The older people are going, what's wrong? These younger people they're just pussies. They're just pussies. They get offended at everything. They're not tough. They can't just deal with it. They're just, they're just weak. And the younger people are going, we're here because you're weak. You're weaker than Circus Lemonade. We're here because you didn't have the strength, and you let your friend sit in the back of the bus. You did nothing. Well, your friend drank out of a different fountain, and you did nothing, while the women were getting paid less, and you did nothing. They had to stand up for themselves. And so now here we are with, whether it be gays or transgender or anything else, and it's this huge kickback, and there's not people saying, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense at all. That person can't wear that to work. So, the younger generation is going, you weak bastards, and the older ones are going, oh, you sissies. And maybe there's a fraction of both of those things that are okay, but the bottom line is we need some different thinking, because we have a different situation than our parents have ever dealt with before, and it's gonna require at least a little more education and thought than just a reactive moral judgment when this is a non-moral event. A non-moral event means it's an event that happens when it doesn't affect anybody adversely one way or the other. I'm going to eat chocolate ice cream. I'm going to eat vanilla ice cream. No matter which one of those things I do, it's going to be okay. Nobody's going to be affected adversely. Whether I go to work in a pair of trousers or a dress, it doesn't matter. It affects nobody but myself. I don't want you to change your clothes. I don't want you to change your routine. I want you to just treat me with the same respect that you treat everybody else. And we're going to get along amazing. Let's see. Anything else?
Can we do rapid fire questions?
Yes, rapid fire questions. Go fast. Yes, I had to get that tangent out of the way.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that crown. I can't read a thing, but I can see a crown and cute shoes. That was fun. I hadn't seen that before either.
Alrighty.
Okay.
There's so
Can you,
much.
yeah,
I'm
rapid
just
fire. Is there anything that,
hormone blockers are reversible? Question mark.
yeah, so if a female were to take hormone blockers that blocked, their estrogen from happening, then their body's not going to go through, those changes. And, the same as a boy. If you give a young boy spirolactin, which is what I'm on to block my testosterone, well, they're going to be able to block his body from responding to a male puberty and with the hair and the mass and the voice and all of those things. Now, what's going to happen if they stop and go back? Well, guess what? They're going to have to experience those things. So, they need to make sure that they understand what they want, but by that time they know what they want. Period. There's no one.
Another fast. What's the hardest part about being trans?
The time commitment. Up till now, the time commitment, living this secretly, and that it didn't allow us to have a regular traditional free time. It was all, wigs and this and sneaking that and running here, and it just felt like life was a schedule. There was not as much organic life, and so now I have this
Thank you for
organic
the
life,
flag.
and I get to say what I want to who I want when I want, and I don't have to just sit reserved going, man, I wish we were speaking about something that even was remotely interesting to me. So, it's just nice to be able to communicate much more honestly.
Will your voice change over time?
My voice could
Learning?
change. It absolutely could change, and it could change right now. I could, take the steps and do the training to make it a little bit higher right now, which may be, more make it more palatable to watch me. I don't really know. And I may as time goes. But remember, it's only been a couple months that I've been able to dress when I wanted to dress, so I'm just figuring it out, just as it's healthy and as we do it. But what I didn't want to do was get on and sound like a cartoon. It's hard to take cartoons very serious, and I don't want you to come on and think, oh, here's somebody trying to trick me.
You can
No,
ask me
yeah, I'm
questions
not.
too.
I'm not trying to trick you, but the voice may go up at some point. But right now, I'm just trying to still be authentic and organic.
Where's your favorite place to shop?
Well, we like stores like Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls, but we also like Dillard's and a lot of those stores as well. Nordstrom's. Um, yeah, those are the stores we probably shop at the most. We do buy a lot of stuff online just because of the convenience now, which is ironic because all I wanted, before was just to go into a store like a real person and pick out exactly and feel the texture and the color and try it on and leave with something that fit perfect. That's all I wanted. And now that, that's getting close to being that reality, I'm buying more and more online when I really have the ability to go out. So this is really good for the younger people that need to shop.
Your voice is fine.
Thank you.
People are asking what Utah is like. Meaning weather-wise,
Utah's
it's
beautiful.
good.
Absolutely. All the state parks, Zion.
The temperature's pretty close to Vegas, about 10, 15, 20 degrees depending on the summertime, but not too bad.
Yeah,
The
Utah's absolutely
community's
beautiful.
good.
Hmm.
We went out as Alyssa and family the other day, and we were very well received and
Absolutely.
they're very respectful. And I didn't know what to expect, so I didn't have the. I just went in to go, okay, here it is. What are we gonna expect, or what are people gonna say? And it was almost like it was just like a normal thing. People weren't like talking amongst each other or anything like that. So it was really good.
Yeah, very good. I was very happy
Yeah.
with that
Sorry, I have to go
experience.
back and find the other questions.
Okay.
Some people are from Utah.
Did your wife always know you were secretly trans? No, she didn't always know because we've been married for 25 years. And, 25 years ago, terminology like transgender, it wasn't even available. She knew that I liked feminine things. She knew that I had a feminine nature that I couldn't really describe, just as she knew I really valued that energy. But neither one of us knew where it was going to go or what it would mean. We just knew that I appreciated, different routines were good for me. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Meatalope. We're going to shout you out. They're from Ukraine. Bless you, and we hope you and your family and your friends and all your loved ones are okay and safe. And I wish you the best, because I'm sure it's disheartening to see what's going on over there.
Yep,
So,
for sure. Prayers are with you.
prayers are with
Do
you.
I like the balance of being Kevin and Alyssa? I do. I do like the balance,
Thank you
because I've never
for
been balanced
the
before.
flowers.
I've been a survivor before, and I've been Kevin all the time, and Alyssa, you know, I've been Kevin a very, very small portion of the time, but Alyssa all the time in my mind. So now it is very balanced, and the more I am Alyssa, the better Kevin I become, for sure. Am I gonna have bottom surgery? You know, I don't have plans for that. I don't need that, because Kevin is important, and you know, things in our relationship are important, and I
Hi
don't
from
need that
Texas.
to satisfy what drives me. I'm
What do
still
you call the foam head things?
I don't know, foam heads for those.
Oh, hi, Erica.
Um,
So I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Erica. Thank you, guys. If
We
you're just
love
getting
you.
here, my name's Alyssa. This is my wife of 25 years, Andrea. My beautiful daughter in the back. She's playing safety. That's Adeline. And you'll see her on a lot of the TikToks, because she's the one pushing the buttons and helping us figure that deal out.
And they're oldest.
Yeah, I really said like 6 times, and I'm like, why isn't it saving it? I don't understand. There's no, so that's good. I'm so proud of your family. There's so many impacted in such a beautiful, positive way. My situation is different. You guys inspire me just to be my true, authentic self. Wow.
Love you, Erica.
Erica, yeah, that's so. Thank you,
I
Erica.
missed you.
That's so good.
Here's a good question. How has it changed our relationship? And what's the girl in the back doing? She's my moral support.
I'm just chilling.
She's maxing, relaxing. This is Addie back here, just maxing, relaxing, doing what Addie does, which is a little thing called whatever she wants all the time.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Thank
wearing
you
me
for the
out. Okay,
flowers.
that girl. Anyway, what makes you feel like a woman the most? You know, that's a really good question, and that's a tough question, because I don't know how it feels to be a woman. You'd have to ask your wife or your mom or your sister. You know, I've never had a menstrual cramp. I've never had a period. I've never given birth. I've never been vulnerable and hoped that I was pretty enough or sweet enough that anybody else would want to come and provide for me and protect me and all. I don't know all of those things, but what I know is what it feels like to be a man who wants to be pretty all the time, who understands the routines and internally feels like that is a very, very familiar role. You know, I don't pretend at all to know what the women go through, and I would not take anything away from them. I don't consider myself that. I consider myself somebody who appreciates deeply, you know, that feminine energy and that feminine role, and it makes me feel authentic and honest to represent that, you know, the best that I can. Do I think that it gives me perspective? I do think it gives me perspective that I didn't have before, you know, I was dressing, and especially before I was on hormones. As an example, you know, before I was on hormones, I mean, the hormones fluctuate like this depending on how your body's utilizing them, um, you know, what method you're taking those hormones, and you can get super emotional. And there have been a few times since I've been on hormones where these hormones have allowed me to go to a place that was very balancing, and during those times things that were not that important previous became very important, and I don't disrespectfully, but I refer to that the few times it's happened as my period, because some people
Period.
period, because some things become so important, but the way that I feel in that moment, those few times that those hormones have allowed me to get there, it's like a tally. It's like inside of me there's a tally, and my soul just tallied up everything that I've done, and it realized that there were some really important things that I didn't get to deal with, probably because there was something more important at that time. But there are things that still need to be dealt with, and there's still acknowledgments that I got to make, and just because I didn't respond then or didn't react then doesn't mean that it's not important. It's like I'm taking accountability with myself that, hey, I'm not accepting those things. You can't respond to me that way. You do these things. I just didn't get a proper opportunity before to deal with that. And it's like if I don't take care of all of those emotional things, then I carry that with me into the next season. And it's the way that my body just levels me back out, deals with the important stuff at times that it can be more important than previous. And so now when if it's that time for my girls, I mean, in my mind, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're thinking, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there's some important stuff that's being dealt with, and it's probably something that I caused. So, you know, give them the time to weigh out all of those things and have those experiences, so they can move past them as well. And I feel more patient because that's what I needed during those few times. Is the same? I don't know. It's probably not the same, but does it help both of us? It helps both of us a lot.
Lulu, you can be with us anytime. Come hang out with us.
Lulu.
She wants to be adopted.
Thank you for wanting to be here. Thank you for feeling safe here. That's just great. Are all the kids supportive? All the kids have been amazing. We're so lucky. They're very young, 22 down, and they've just been so incredibly supportive, and it's made all the difference. As a dad, there's a responsibility to teach your sons how to be men and respectful and open doors and protect and to honor and to cherish. And as a dad, you want to teach your daughters to not tolerate anybody who doesn't do those things. And they're worth having the doors opened, and they're worth being respected. And they get to control the situations and the environment because they are the vulnerable ones. So they get to control the safety of the situations. And I want to have those things, and I don't want those things to be impacted by the clothes that I'm wearing. But those are all things that are very important to me, and I'm fortunate with the children I have. I don't have to compromise one for the other. I get to have those experiences and those conversations regardless of what I'm wearing, and that's been a home run for us.
All right. Are there places that some of our viewers could go and meet more trans people and learn more? That's something we need you guys to help us with, because in our community, it's few and far between for our age, but there's a lot of help with our younger kids. So with the younger kids, I think we have an online where is it at? Where's the link on our
bio?
Yeah,
on our bio.
There's a link that you can go and get some help or get some input with where you can get some help and find somebody who can help you and be supportive.
Yeah, if you go, call your Chamber of Commerce. So if you'll just call your Chamber of Commerce and ask them what centers and support groups are around, then they will know that will be on a calendar. You probably don't even have to call them. You can probably just look up the Chamber of Commerce in most big cities, and there are groups. A lot of the groups now are online, and you're doing these little Zoom meetings and functions and social things. And you get to dress, but you don't have to go expose yourself and get a ticket or get a flat tire, all of these other risks that are out there that are keeping everyone from living their best life. And you can do these things now, have these events, right online if you don't want to leave your house. And maybe we can do some of those. Maybe we can do.
Yeah, we've been kind of in hiding ourselves for a little bit, but on our Discord, we have some stuff as well.
Yeah, so if you can communicate more, if you want to go to our Discord, you can just get to that through our bio, and you're going to see the National Suicide Hotline and all kinds of good things. So join us on our other platforms, YouTube and all the other stuff. If you missed the lives, you can go back and listen to some of those over on YouTube. So your questions are so good and your thoughts are so inspiring. So please keep them coming.
I miss a lot of the questions, so you can re-ask the question, and that's okay, because sometimes it goes so fast that I don't even get to see it. So if we missed your question, please ask it again, and we can try to get to it.
Did I lose people? No. I picked up some time and energy that I would have exhausted in some people. But you don't lose friends and families. You lose haters and hypocrites, and it's like nature's way of flushing people out of my life that were gonna take more from me than they were gonna give me. And so, I've kept everybody that's important in my life.
Yes. Thank you for being here. There's a lot of people in here that have been really kind to us today. So thank you. And thanks to the moderators for getting on here.
Absolutely, guys. We have so many moderators. We know that this is an interesting subject and it brings a lot of strong opinions. But, we appreciate the moderators because we want this to be a good program, because we know that there are transgender adults and even teenagers and even youth that watch this show, and they're looking to see how the world's going to treat them, and they're looking for answers, and they're trying to understand themselves and define themselves and see what their future looks like. So when you come on and be disgusting and weird and rude, we're training our little people to stay away from you, and to not like you right out of the gates, because they can't be protected by you. So please, let's keep everything at a level that if your child was watching this, that you would, they would get something from it, whether or not you agree with it. Give them a resource. Give them a resource. We're not the best resource, but we're a resource that's here right now.
Thank you, everyone. There's a question about
Okay.
How do you and your wife still have a relationship? I mean, it's been 25 years. It's a work in progress, but...
You want to see a video? That's not the... Yeah.
Okay, Addie in the background. Thanks. And our relationship has actually gotten stronger the last several months since Alyssa's been able to become a little more of her true self. And because of that, it's been a lot more open communication, and we're a little bit more honest in what we both need and what we want in certain times of the year and day and month. With being a hormonal cis person, she's very respectful in helping me with that stuff and reassuring me that, she's here for me just as well. So I want people to know that we're both supporting each other. So,
Yeah,
but you go ahead and
thank
answer
you.
that. I gotta go answer a question over.
Oh, it's Amanda's birthday. Happy birthday, Amanda. That's fantastic. That's great. Happy birthday, and thank you for being here with us on your birthday. That's a little gift from you to me. Probably feels like a one-way love. In Japanese, they have a term called kata omoi, and we don't have a term for that in the English language. But basically, kata omoi is one-directional love. And, you can see, who in your life has the one-directional love, when you tell them something, like you're trans. And, that's a good term, though, one-directional love. Kata omoi.
Kata omoi.
Well played,
Mm-hmm.
my young
I know.
samurai girl.
I'm obsessed with the both, and then you're just I'm obsessed with you both and just adore your relationship so much.
Thank you. Thank you
That
for
was
being here.
hard. I haven't gone to school in too long.
Thank you for the heart. I can see that the rose is coming up. Thank you for that.
Alyssa, are you still friends with any of the guy friends you used to have?
Yes, I'm still friends with almost all of the guy friends I had. They were easy. Really, they're just like, what? Okay. And then they just, that was it. That was the end of it. Guys, they couldn't care less. They don't need to see me dressed. This is not a side of my personality that's important to them. They like, riding motorcycles and playing golf and doing all those man things, which we did, but because our affection for each other is so great, it hasn't been a problem at all. Where the women, they're much more, they have more of the response that I'm looking for. Like, what? Get out of here! Let me see pictures. What do you think about these shoes? Do you have any shoes with red bottoms? Do you have any purse with feet? It's all these questions that are interesting to me, and rewarding to me. So yes, I have most people in my life now that were here, before I came out.
Hi from London and Scotland.
Well, hello, London and Scotland. Thank you for being here.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. If
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, coast to coast,
What are you
baby.
looking for?
I was just looking for my glasses. I thought maybe I could read some of them.
Mom's.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, those are readers. I need ones that can go a little further. See, this is what 50 years old. I'm 50 years old. I can't even, read little tiny letters on my screen. I'm telling you, if you listen close, you could hear my body breaking down. It's like a candy wrapper that's like shriveling. Oh, look how smart you look.
I look like a
Oh,
librarian.
you do look like a librarian.
Oh my, I'm gonna get a migraine.
All right, is there any other
Someone
questions?
asked,
Yes.
has anyone made comments at your daughter's school? Everyone is really supportive. People don't really mind, don't really care. I haven't gotten hate from it. Even if I did, I wouldn't mind. It's my life, not theirs, so it's been good. You look so much younger than 50.
I do. Thank you.
She does. She's
Thank
got
you.
a
It's
lot
the hair.
too.
It's the hair.
Not
It's
just the
it's the
hair.
makeup. Let me tell you
Yeah.
one of the things I love, love, love about being a girl, and it's one of the things I cherish the most. And that's the ability to wake up in the morning and to decide what kind of a day I'm gonna have. When I'm putting my makeup on, do I want, fierce eyes? Do I want soft eyes? Do I want strong lips? Do I want bold? Like I get to kind of spiritually create my day when I'm putting myself together. It's consciously uh creating that day and who you are and how you're going to go out and represent that day. And that's been a beautiful process for me to be able to do that. I love the choice of choice. I love the ability to create who you are every day. I just think that's a super opportunity.
Someone said putting on makeup is my meditation.
Right? That's how I feel.
Facts.
That's so facts.
Thank you for spending your evening with us here.
Yes, thank you. What I do for a
Thank
living, I was
you.
in sales. I was in middle management. That's what I've done for my whole career. I wore a suit and tie, cufflinks. I traveled. I was gone most of the time, more than 50% of the time I was away. We had a residence out in another state where I was working, and I would come home on the weekends. So in the evenings, I could go out there. I could live there as a girl, which I did every day, and then I would come home here and father here and do all the things that were important. So the ability to do both right now is so special, and I try not to take advantage of that or force that, or they're still used to dad and they're still gonna get dad, a lot of the time. But it is nice to have the flexibility to dress more and in front of the people I love. Feelings on the show called Euphoria. Do you know the show Euphoria?
I've heard about it, but I don't watch it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know this show. We don't watch a lot of TV. We just barely quit our corporate job to put this
Hi, Mackenzie.
program together and a training platform, and so that's where most of our time goes. And we just don't watch a lot of TV except for Yellowstone and 1883. We seem to get all of those in.
Who was the toughest to open up to?
Probably Samantha, probably my oldest daughter, because it was the first time ever, and we didn't know how that was going to go. And we waited a long time. We were going to wait till all of the children were 18 years old, and she was 18, and I wasn't 100% sure. I knew that she would love me. I never doubted her for a second, but I wasn't sure that I was prepared for whatever response she had. And she was so amazing about it, and I just couldn't have been happier. Then shortly after that, not only was she not weird, she called me and said, I really want to go, get our belly buttons pierced together. Was that something that you would do with me? And I said, yes, absolutely. And so we went and had that experience together, and it was so bonding and so powerful. And I really, really do appreciate how smooth that was. But all my kids have been just incredible. Addie, incredible. I mean, look at that.
Thanks. What foundation do you use?
The foundation I'm using right now is CoverGirl. CoverGirl Clean. It's in a shade that they do not make anymore, apparently. Shade 145. So I'm going to have to write somebody a strongly worded letter. Yeah, oh yeah. They're going to get a strongly worded letter from me because I've tried the shade on the other side, and I didn't really think that either one were perfect. So CoverGirl, just know that a strongly worded letter is coming your direction, okay?
You need to try more.
I've tried a lot. I have tried a lot.
A lot.
Oh.
If you guys have any good favorite foundations, share them. And also, if you haven't, follow and share. It'd mean a lot. Anyways.
Facts.
If Getting my slang.
Mm.
My slang.
Mm.
Or swag. My favorite word is swag. What's your favorite word?
Delicious. Sometimes
You're very
succulent.
delicious. Like a plant?
Succulent's kind of like delicious. So succulent and moist and just.
Okay.
All right. Is any questions?
Please give me advice on lovely wigs as I'm going through chemo. Aww.
Oh,
You've
I'm
got
sorry.
this.
I'm sorry that you're going through chemo. This wig is real human hair. And the long wig behind me, next to that picture, is also human hair, and they're my favorite wigs just because they're natural and they feel right and they wash, good. And you just style them just like regular hair. So they could be expensive. They could be $550 to $900. Is what I'm paying for these wigs. But I have a lot of cheaper wigs that also look amazing that are not real hair, and you don't have to style them. They just stay in place. And so, there's a lot of wig shops. I would really suggest going in there and just trying on a couple and just seeing, what feels good. My biggest advice, you have to get the band right inside. So because these were custom, I actually they sew the band inside and they sew all the hair into it. And so this elastic band goes over your skull, your scalp, and it holds it on tight. But it is like mine on both of my wigs are just crazy tight, like cut off your blood, choke you out tight. So, I need to figure out a way to loosen those up a little bit. So make sure that when they're measuring your head, that you get that right. That has been the biggest bummer for me with this gorgeous, gorgeous hair, but this big of a headband.
Are they expensive?
The real hair wigs, $550 to $850.
Someone said MAC foundation is great.
MAC foundation, is it great? I do like MAC. I have a lot of MAC products. There's some lipstick here. There's some Prep and Prime here powder that I really like. So yeah, I do enjoy the MAC product line for sure.
Someone asked if I'm your wife.
Oh,
I'm the daughter.
the daughter. Well, they know that we live in Utah, and they're like, yeah, but it's my daughter. It's my teenage daughter, and an amazing support and even role model. I feel like, I'm learning how to do makeup and I'm learning style, and style is important to her and looks are important to her. And I kind of, was watching her before we came out. I was just going, man, I feel like we're in the same kind of process of what that looks like. So it's been actually a really kind of sweet, season, for that
Someone
creation.
said Charlotte Tilbury's nice. You can tell them about your experience with Charlotte Tilbury.
You know what? We actually went to Vegas, and I went into a Sephora specifically to try out that Charlotte Tilbury, and I couldn't find one that really seemed right for my skin tone. It seemed like they were all so yellow, and I tried. So I want to find maybe some of their other products. However, there were several products that were just simply missing. They were gone. Most of the products were gone. So what was left on the shelf, I didn't get to truly try and match for myself, but I really want to. I went there specifically for that.
We love the Hanson family. That's so sweet.
That is so
We
nice.
love
Thank
that.
you. Wow, that's really. Thank you for saying that. That's strong and brave. Thank you. Do I find it easier to be a woman or a man? I find it easier to be a man because that's what I've done every day. I woke up and I went out and fought it out just like you and everybody else. So, but I find it much, much, much more rewarding and honest to be a girl. That's where I feel authentic. That's where I heal. That's where the conflict and the friction of my life gets to just go away. So, out of habitually, I've been a pretty tough guy out there. But spiritually, I feel much different on the inside.
How can one help someone who is transitioning?
How can someone help somebody who is transitioning? I would say be there. I would start. The first thing you can do to help any trans person is when they tell you, just respond the right way. Just don't respond, hey, that's fine. As long as you don't hurt anybody, I don't care. That's the worst thing in the world. This person has been waiting for weeks or months or
Thank you
years
for
to
the
tell you
galaxy.
because they trust you. They're not telling you because they want you to keep a secret. They're telling you because they want to have a different relationship with you. And saying, number one, don't hurt anybody says, wow, as soon as you said that, I thought, wow, this person must be capable of hurting people. But ourselves are the only ones that we were even ever capable of hurting. And that's a tough message to hear from someone that you really, really want to understand how amazing you are. And then, hey, look, if you don't hurt one, I don't really care. I get what you're saying. You're saying, it doesn't bother me. You do you, I'll do me, and I'm not really put off that much by that. It's okay. I understand you're saying it's okay, but it doesn't feel like it's okay. It feels like if you don't hurt somebody, then I really don't care. I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent as long as you don't hurt somebody. But if you hurt somebody, then I care. And that's not when we want to be cared about. Right after we hurt, somebody ourselves. So I would just pick a different response. I would say, oh my gosh, you must have been wanting to tell me for a while, and I'm so honored and grateful that you trust me and respect me with that information. And I just want you to know I'm going to protect it, and I support you, and I will do everything that's healthy for you. And that is when somebody goes home going, I knew it. I knew they were the right person. I knew that was somebody that I could trust and can let me hang in there a little longer. So best thing you could do is be available, and you don't have advice to give. That person doesn't know the answers. That person doesn't know the questions. So it's not about, hey, what kind of advice do I give them? Be brave is the advice you give them. Be brave. Whatever happens, be brave. I'll be there with you. If we have to take a rock or two, we'll take a rock or two. But don't give up on you. Don't give up on everything that's possible for you. And I'll be there to take some of those blows with you. And there's strength in that for a trans person.
Is it possible to transition too fast?
Sure, absolutely it is. And I think that's a big worry. This is why I think it's important that we have these conversations now. Because so many people, I'm getting those questions. You're not trans because you're Kevin sometimes, you're Alyssa sometimes. You're just a cross-dresser. You're not trans. Like there's a certain amount that I have to dress in order to someone accept me. So yes, if somebody is having a hard time getting acceptance from their family, from their friends, from their parents, and the only way to prove to them is to go all the way and then finally they'll just have to accept them, but really going just all the way and that wasn't really what they needed. Yeah, that's a way you can go too fast. I would encourage people to be who they need to be, not who you want them to be. I would say, look, you go as slow as you want, you go as fast as you want. If you want to, if you feel like you're gone too far and you need to step back a couple, notches, that's okay with me. I understand that you have switches turned on that a lot of people don't have. So as you go and become comfortable with those abilities, I'll be here with you. But I would say don't push it too far unless you're 100%, sure. But most people are 100% sure with the things that they have done.
Do you find yourself using cologne or perfume more?
Perfume. You know what? It's strange that you say that because I did wear cologne a lot before. I stopped wearing cologne about 6 years ago when I got on hormones. When I got on hormones, I stopped having, like stinking. Like I don't wear deodorant. I don't sweat very much. I just don't stink at all. But I like to smell good. So, I don't sweat and stink. I still like to smell good. So I don't wear cologne very much anymore. Galaxy Sin is 1,000 coin. Galaxy. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for that. That's incredible.
What's your favorite perfume?
My favorite. Oh, I've got a couple good ones. You know what I really, really like? Like this is super delicious right here. This is Versace. This is Versace, and it is so amazing. Like I could smell myself for a few minutes in this right here. This is
Sorry, I had to go.
give myself those good feelings. Oh yeah, those are good feelings.
What's her TikTok? How do you? Well, too.
You have to share that. Yeah.
She has a few. Some of them I'm not on. TikTok question.
Yeah, we shouldn't give those out. If we're not on them, we shouldn't give access to them.
Oh, here's a good one.
Okay.
How do you tell if your child is trans or if they're just going through a phase?
You don't. You just wait for that information. They'll let you know. Yeah, I wouldn't steer them. I wouldn't coax them when they came up and they wrap their hands around you and they say, Dad, guess what I'm going to be when I grow up? and you say, "What, Billy? What are you going to be? A girl." Then what you could follow up with next is, "That's amazing. What kind of a girl? An astronaut girl, a doctor girl, a lawyer girl? What kind of a girl are you going to be?" And you don't squash, who they think they are themselves. You get them to reach a little higher, and you get them to go, "Yeah, what's next?"
I'm
And
the spouse.
this
Someone's
is my
asking.
this is my wife
Sorry, I had
Andrea,
to
my
step out
spouse
for
of
a second.
25 years. But they'll tell you unless you crush them, and then they'll stop telling you anything. So I would
Oh,
support them with what is healthy. And for the trans kids, they shut down and they're not respectful and they don't get along and they hurt themselves. And if the solution to that is dressing differently and that's all, I mean, what are you going to do as a parent? What are you going
yeah.
to do? Hit them harder? Hit them longer? Is that I mean, at what point will you just surrender that hitting's not going to work, that punishing's not going to work? Like, what is that, a week? Is that a month? Is that a year? How much of a child's life will you take from them and in discipline and harshness before you go fine? Make sure they're fine now. You're their parents. They're trusting you to make the decisions for them that are going to help them grow and thrive. And shame and guilt and fear, pain, that's not a way to thrive. Not for you, not for anybody.
Here's another good one. When starting hormones, did you ever get scared that you'd be ugly? That's my fear. I'm scared.
Really? No, I didn't. I never felt that way.
Don't be scared.
I was so ugly before. My mom had to breastfeed me through a straw. And
I
so
don't even.
I didn't, I shouldn't have said that either.
No.
I shouldn't have said that either. So no, hormones immediately made me better. They made my skin softer. They
It's true. Her skin is so soft. It's not fair.
Yeah, so no, hormones did amazing things for my feminine look. Amazing things. I don't know how it possibly would even be here without that.
Wow. Oh, look at the birthday
Oh,
cake. Thank
nice cake.
you.
Thank you for the cake.
Do you think TV and social media accurately represents you?
Um, I don't watch a lot of TV and social media. That's really, I mean, I guess I would have to know who specifically. Probably not. Probably not. I'm just a guy trying to be as pretty as possible and take care of his peeps and,
Mm.
fight the masses at the same time. So probably not. But I don't know. I don't know. But what I don't want it to do is I don't want it to throw this in
Thank
with
you for
with
the
every
finger
other
heart.
identity thing. That's not what I want. Gender identity is simply about gender. It's not about sports. It's not about athletics. It's not about rights. It's not about any of those things. It's simply about,
Hi
this
from
is the
Memphis.
social role that I want to
Thank you
play.
for the
This is the
flowers.
social way that I want to identify, because this is when I feel the
Wow,
most
thank
honest to
you.
you. And if being social is about, hey, let me tell you who I am, let me describe who I am. It's just like you and your tattoos. Every one of your tattoos, it says something special and unique about you. And, when I wear this wig, it says everything is special and unique about me. And it gives you a much more honest and accurate sense of things that are important to me. That's all.
Here's a good one, and I need to hear this for myself. Advice on how to get better about pronouns. We're never doing it on purpose. It's
Right?
hard because
It,
I'm with Kevin some of the time, but I'm also with Alyssa some of the time. When we were getting pedicures, I was like, Kevin, Alyssa. It's just kind of, a lot of people aren't doing it on purpose. It's just almost like I feel like the habit has been, I say that, and now I'm more towards, hey, hun, hey, babe, Alyssa. So it's almost like repetition sometimes. So that's
Ye-
for me anyway.
yeah, yeah, it's very hard in this household because I'll respond to both and I go by both and I act as both. And,
And she's
not
really nice about it for
and not
me.
everybody wants that. Some people are not satisfied with the male energy that they have in their life, and they're not happy with it. They're not comfortable with it, and they're much more interested in developing the female energy that drives them and gives them hope and passion than trying to justify the male energy. Where I go by Kevin a lot. Um, but pronouns, just respond to people how they're dressed. My gosh, if you think they're dressed feminine, then refer as she until you know otherwise. Or
Slip of the
if it's a
tongue.
boy, then refer as as he, but I do it as well. And I just say, hey, I apologize. I wasn't paying attention. I apologize if that offended you at all. I would like to know how I can, respond to you. I'd like to know that. That's important to me. Who you are and the name that you go by says so much about you. And the quicker I understand that, then the more honest and authentic communication we can have. So, if I offended you, it's only because I had the courage to come and talk to you. Most people, because they don't know, they stay away. They're staying away not because they hate me, not because they're afraid of me, because they don't know how to respond to me. Oh my goodness, what is this, gender nonconforming or transgender or gender expansive, and not, they're like, I don't know. I'm so confused. It's easier to just stay clear of transgender people than it is to interact with them, and that's what we don't want. That's what we don't want at all.
Yes. People are asking how we met. That's a fun one. We met, I was 19, and Kevin had just but came back from his mission. And his brother got engaged to my best friend. And she wanted me to meet her fiance, and her fiance's brother, which is Kevin, wanted to have a date with me. And I said no twice. And my mom came around and said, what do you have to lose, honey? And long story short, I got home from the date and I cried because Kevin lived in California at the time and I was in Utah. And 6 months later, we were married. And here we are today.
25 years later.
I know. So fun. That's an easy question for me.
Yeah.
Oh, do you
Lip gloss is the best. Lip gloss is the best, right? Thank you.
Do you present yourself as a woman or a trans woman?
Trans woman.
Yes.
Trans woman, and that term's for you. That term's because society thinks so they get to know, what parts I have. My dress should tell you which routines I prefer. That should be enough. But for some reason, you need to know, if I'm cisgender or transgender, like how real are those parts? Like, are they all the way real? Are they like rebuilt part? Like what's that machinery look like? Whoa, is anyone asking you those same questions? This is the set of routines that's comfortable and familiar to me, and it's just that easy.
His mission at the time, he was on an LDS mission for the Mormon Church. And that's where he was. They were asking if you're in the military and stuff. That's a good question. Somebody says, what is dead name? I've heard this term, but I don't know what it is.
So a dead name is a name that you use previous to transition. So your previous gender would be your dead name. And once you decide that's not the name I'm going with anymore, then that name becomes dead. And it represents somebody that you never felt represented you. And I don't feel that because I still have to be Kevin. I still, am Kevin. And so I don't have a dead name, I have a living, growing opportunity is what I have. And, it's interesting. If you have little kids at all, no, forget it. You should watch this anyway. It's a podcast called How to Be a Girl. You need to go and watch it. It's very, very, it's not that long. Some of the clips are short, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. It's very, very quick, but it's a beautiful mother who's just fighting the rest of the world, trying to get their child, their transgender child who won't put on pants, through life in a healthy way. That's gonna set this child up for success. And it's such a beautiful and genuine tale of the experience. But I remember in one episode, they were going to change the name on the driver's license, and the mother says, guess what today is? We're going to go down to the Social Security office. Oh, okay, what's there? Well, we're going to put your new name on your Social Security card, which is a government document. And the child says, that's not my new name. It's my real name. Mm. And, when she said that, it just made so much sense. It just hit me. Very, very personal. And that's really how it feels. This is my real name. This is a name that when you hear is going to represent me in so many more ways than what the other name was. And I just want you to know me. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Someone asked me, how did I feel when he came out to me?
Mm.
That's a good question, because in the beginning, we didn't really know what it was. There wasn't terminology. There wasn't trans. We didn't know. And so we kind of evolved together. I kind of say that we transitioned together, because I watched her grow from Kevin to Allyssa in the last 25 years. And so I didn't have this like moment where she came to me and said, "Hey, I'm trans." We were together when I heard that word for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that's what you are. Okay, we have a name for it. We're good. Okay, yeah, we're trans." And I've kind of lumped myself into it because I felt like Kevin was always going to be there for me. But transitioning into Allyssa, I've gained a new person in my life, meaning she's part of my life, but Kevin is as well. And so I didn't have that moment where it was like, wait, what? So I knew from the very beginning that she liked more feminine things. And so as we started transitioning, that's when we figured out the term. So
it's a great thank you.
That's
What a good explanation. Thank you. People are asking how they support us. Thank you for even asking. You being here is such a support. Thank you. We do have Cash App and Venmo, those things on my bio page. So
and merch.
And merch too. Look, here's our 1 in 4 collector's coffee cup right here.
There's some on the merch. It's really cute.
But yeah, if you go to the bio, there's all of our information, including the Cash App information and all of that. So thank you for even asking that question. Thank you.
I love it. A lot of people saying,
"Hey, I love you. I'm glad you
you.
got it. I hope you're using it. I'm so glad that you got that mug." I was pretty proud. In the mailing that off that day in the post office. So
yeah.
I love it.
Mike asked, did lumping yourself into the "we're trans" make it easier with pronouns? Not for me, because I'm dyslexic, and so sometimes I call her Kevin, sometimes I call Kevin Allyssa. And fortunately for me, it doesn't offend her, because she knows who I am and that I might slip up a lot of the time. So anyway.
That's awesome. So yeah, this mug, people are asking about the mug. So I had a little giveaway, and I had this mug created. It's just my little logo there, and then the logo is somebody taking off a suit and tie. They're sold out. I didn't know that we sold any.
I think you're sold
Maybe I
out.
didn't.
It's not available. We'll have
It's
to.
not what?
We'll
Anyway,
figure it out.
so yeah, that's the little logo that my team had built. It's just so
It's so
fun.
cute.
It's so fun.
I love all the cute little.
So we did a
makeup
giveaway.
brushes,
Yeah.
the lipstick, the wands, all the fun stuff. Oh,
It's so fun.
thank you for the heart.
So if I can, down the road, if I can make some more of these and do some more giveaways, then they want to do that. So that'd be fun. Thank you for participating in that. That's great.
They're asking if we're intimate. Yes, we are. That's all we're gonna say about that.
Or
me anyway.
Yeah, no, it's the only appropriate thing to say. And I know that it's a valid question, because there are the spouse of trans people on here going, "Wait a minute, you've been on hormones for 6 or 7 years, so what does that allow us? An intimacy, opportunity." And so I understand the question, and the reality is that opportunity is still there. At least it's still, there for us, but that's up to you. It depends on the amounts that you take and how you do on those drugs.
Yeah.
But I want to keep the show appropriate for the young children that are watching this. There's things that I don't need in there. They're figuring out so much right now, and I don't want them thinking about some of those things yet. They don't need to. They need to concentrate on just protecting who they are right now before someone takes it from them. So yes, we're very intimate, and it is a possibility for you as well if you're in that situation.
We haven't. Oh, thank you for the paper crane.
Yay.
So, what size shoe do you wear in women's?
11. I've got fat feet. I've got these Barney Rubble feet. And so if there was
Me
like a
too.
cutout in my car, I could just be like, "Oh, don't worry, babe. I'm going to just jog us over there." I got some big Barney Rubble wide feet apparently, but yeah, 11s.
Kim, it's not a mean question. Why do you have to be Kevin's? Or two as well?
Um, number one, because I don't want to go too far, because I'm capable of more than just this, and because people expect that of me. If I've lived just in the weekends and living on myself after work, dressing up, that represents a very, very small percentage of my life that I've been able to dress up till now at 50 years old. So let's say that represents 1% of my whole life that I've been able to dress. So for me going from 1% to 100%, that's too much. That's too much to organically enjoy any minute, much less every single minute. I still have routines, I still have responsibilities. My children still live in this community and go to school here and play sports here and do all of these things. And I need them to have as healthy and as normal of a childhood experience as possible. So, if I've got to go pick my daughter up from work, I'm not going to dress. I'm going to
Same size feet.
all right. I'm gonna adjust my wardrobe and what I do based on work schedules and school schedules and all of those things that need to be done because they're important. And I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna get to this as much as I need, as soon as it's healthy. And right now it's not healthy for the entire
Oh, a
group
lot of people wear
for me
11.
to just
You guys
go.
could share shoes. Oh, did your wife have any idea you wanted this before you told her? They're probably new here, and I've pretty much known our whole marriage. We just didn't have the terminology for it then. So again, we kind of just kind of transitioned together and learned it all
Mhm.
together. You guys are so nice. Thanks
So
for your
nice.
comment. Please tell me you get more support than negativity.
You know what? We do. Absolutely, we do. We get a lot more support. And it's funny because I could read 100 good comments when we post a video. I could read a million good comments, and then all of a sudden, just some mean person saying weird things. It like, oh wow, why, that's unbelievable. What am I doing? So that tells you how about all these kids who don't have this support? They don't have this neighborhood like you're in. Think how much they're struggling. Think how every mean thing that gets said, it means even more because they don't have any nice comments to offset that or balance that. And it's interesting. We could have literally 100 good comments, but we hear one bad one, and we're just like, oh, can you believe that? Shut it down. We're off of social media. This thing licks dogs, right?
Oh,
So imagine if the only comments you got, or half of the comments, or most of the comments were disparaging, or they were laughs, or they were jokes. You got to be tough as nails, to still be you and still survive with everybody else, who
Yeah.
doesn't understand.
are you worried the people in your community will see you online?
No.
Yeah, they have. We're not
Mhm.
worried. I mean, I was kind of wondering how they would react. I was worried for the kids because people are bad words, and I didn't want them to have to deal with the things that we're doing in our lives and them being part of it. We didn't want any bad negativity towards them. And fortunately, our kids are strong enough that they pretty much will tell you where to go and how to get there and how fast it will take you. And they have been inspiring, for at least for me, because when I was a kid, I didn't know anyone who was gay. I didn't know anyone who was trans. And one of my neighbors came out as gay, and I remember thinking, "Huh, well that's cool. Now we have a gay person in our neighborhood. I want to go talk to him." But the rest of the community, not the rest, people that I knew in the community were really down on this person, and I was confused how they could treat that kind person who they loved and respected and looked up, were kind to before. How do you become such an a-hole after they come out when you were nice to them before? So in my mind, I was like, well, no one will care. They like us now, and if they don't, then we don't need them as our friends anyway. So I just feel bad for people who are that close-minded. Like, we loved this person for who he was then. Now that he's gay, what does that matter? That just means I'm going to have a fun gay neighbor and I want to be their friend. I've always wanted that in my life. Okay.
But isn't it funny? Isn't it funny the social resistance? You know how hard it was for people who are gay to get married. Like how big of a deal that was. Okay, great. Now we're there. Now you can get married. What happened? Did crime go up? Right? Did bad statistics go up of abuse? Are the streets just riddled with glitter? For crying out loud, what happened? Nothing happened. What happened is now people get to live honestly, and they get to go to work, and they get to be proud of who they are and who they protect. And you know, nothing bad happened. Nothing bad's gonna happen once you go, hey, this just in. People get to dress themselves in the morning. Once that is okay, everything else will work itself out. You know, everything, the pronouns, everything's gonna work itself out. But we can't get that far because we have too many people saying, "Oh no, you don't get the right to pick your own clothes in the morning. We're going to tell you
Thank you,
the
Mike.
routines that we want you to have in this life." So you know we got to have a huge shift in thinking. Otherwise, we're going to lump transgender into all of these things where it doesn't
Glitter
belong.
everywhere.
And you know, it's not a healthy thing for our people.
People love your hair. Have you found the company yet that your wig company that you got
Oh,
your
I
wig
told I was supposed to.
store?
I do need to post that. Would you remind me to
Yeah.
do that?
And what lipstick are you wearing right now?
This right here is CoverGirl. This is CoverGirl. It's like a 12-hour wear. That means like about 45 minutes. But this is a stain. It comes on, it dries really tacky. And then you put on this lip gloss that goes over it.
It's not a new wig. She just hasn't worn it very often. I'm trying to get them all out and get her to use more than just the one. You know, you always have the one.
I always have the one. Well, I don't know where the gloss went.
Have you heard that you look like Lady Gaga? A lot of people, a
No.
couple people have said that. That's a
No,
first.
but
Thank
that's
you.
nice. How sweet is that? Thank you.
Oh, thank you
Wow,
for
she's
the
yeah.
TikTok symbol thing.
Wow, thank
So
you for that.
Do any of your
Wow.
coworkers know?
Yeah, I think a lot of my
Wow, thank you. Thank
actually you
James.
could wow, James, thank you. What
Aw.
is it? Is it a TikTok
It's
symbol?
a TikTok symbol.
Wow, thank you, James. Your
Hi from
coworkers.
Seattle. Oh, my coworkers?
I mean,
Oh, my
answer.
coworkers are freaking amazing. I just love them. And they have been, I wish I could have told them before because I didn't know. I mean, I knew they were good people, but I didn't want to make them choose between me or, you know, the community. And when they found out, I just was so grateful because they're like, what? I want to meet her? Oh my gosh, that sounds fun. You know, they're just really cool. I don't know what that galaxy thing is, but that was
That was
awesome.
really awesome. Thank you for a galaxy. Yeah, they were really amazing. Wasn't that a relief? My coworkers, people who work for me, was very fortunate because I was able to actually go out dressed with people that I
Wow,
managed.
thank you,
And it
Jane.
was so empowering. It was so amazing to be able to do that. And it felt so honest. It's interesting that I would wake up, you know, and I would stand up in a meeting. I would give a meeting of stuff that I had prepared hours for. And I would say
Wow,
things,
thank
you
you for
know,
the
to try to
heart.
inspire and encourage. And people would come up and say thank you. And I would walk off going, man, I'm such a fraud. If they even knew
Thank
how I
you,
really felt. Like,
Sriracha
and I
Queen,
felt all of those things.
Megan.
But
Wow, all
but
you
I
guys,
just that's
thank
not the
you.
message I wanted to give them, and it's not the way that I wanted to deliver it.
All the
So
galaxies,
yes, my
the
coworkers
roses.
did know, and they have been absolutely incredible. And the reality is, a question was asked earlier:
Look
how is
at
our
all those.
community?
Wow.
You know, we don't go in the community a lot, but all of the community that we have come out to here has been amazing. And some of them are watching right now. Some
Yeah.
that we didn't even know knew, and they're on here right now supporting us and encouraging us, and we didn't even know that
Thank
support
you,
was possible.
Heather.
You know,
E buttons.
not
Thank
that we're going to
you.
put our kids in uncomfortable situations more than we have to, but I have
No,
been
thanks,
absolutely
Boo.
overwhelmed with how amazing so much of the community has been.
Wow, thank you. E-Buttons is hooking you up.
Wow, yes, thank you.
Erica, thank you
great.
for the present. My
Thank
goodness. Alyssa, if you could say one thing to the non-trans community to help the trans community, what would it be?
Well, I would ask them that question that I asked earlier.
Thanks again.
If you had a 5-year-old, 6-year-old son, and the only thing that made him happy, if he was angry and bitter and dismissive and, you know, violent
Thanks,
towards
guys, for
you,
all the gifts.
and the only solution was letting him
Dang.
wear a dress, would you do that? Are you the type of parent that would say, hold on, I need to have a relationship with you, and if that relationship needs to be in a dress
Yes.
so that you're happy and healthy, are you the parent that would do that for your child?
Thanks for all
That's the only
presents.
question you have to answer, because it could be your grandchild, it could be your niece, it could be your nephews. So my question would be, number
Cute
one,
heels.
does that person have the right to pick their own clothes? And if they
Wow,
do,
Erica,
do we have a
thank
right
you.
to support them and defend them and make sure that they too can learn to read and write and play and socialize and do all the things that are important to them? Do we have the right to govern the routines that people pick for their lives? That's the
Yes.
question I would ask you to ask
Wow.
yourself. It has
The
nothing to do
owl.
with
Thank you,
sexuality.
Holly.
Gender identity is who you go to bed as. Sexual preference is who you go to bed with. It's two different things.
Thank
Keep
you
them
for the
separate. Don't
crown.
teach the kids in school about sex, not about transgenders having sex or gays having sex or heterosexuals. It doesn't need to be in the school at all. Leave it out. Don't use transgender as a reason to have special training for young kids. I don't want that. Don't even lump me in with the nonsense that people want to push onto our kids. It's not a
Wow,
place
thanks for the hang
to be
light.
at school.
Pretty.
Just let our children, dress how they want, and figure out what you want to call them. Not based on how good they are at presenting, but based on how you were raised in your character. Based on the level of respect that you feel towards others in your community. Everything will work itself out. We don't need special laws. We don't need new protections. We need new thinking.
I love. We have a follow or somebody on with us right now. She said they're raising a trans grandchild.
Wow.
My heart
Wow.
goes out to you, and
What a lucky
Wow.
grandparents.
thank
What a
you for
lucky
the heart
child.
thing.
Good luck with that. I would just know that the child is going to let you know what they need.
Thank you for the perfume.
But it's so important that they trust you so that they can tell you what they need. So I wouldn't worry that you don't have the answers, because they don't know the questions yet. What they need to
Hi
know is
from
that you're
Canada.
there and you're going to help them work out the right answers. And that's okay. Whatever the answers that are right for them, that's okay with you. And when everyone else comes down on them somewhere in their life, they're going to go, that's okay, because my grandparents believed in me and they're never wrong. They love me. They know me more than anybody, and they believe in me.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is just not that hurtful.
Thank you for the wishing something. I can't see. I need new glasses.
Did I ever tell my parents when I was younger? No, I didn't. No, I didn't tell my parents when I was younger. It wasn't appropriate. I didn't have the words to say when I was younger. There wasn't.
Yeah.
Literally, there was no
Heart, thank
transgender.
you.
You have to just not accept things, but you take things as they're available. So 25 years ago when we get married, hey, hon, look, I have these feelings. I don't even see a term for it. I see this thing called transvestite, but that truth is that doesn't feel like it represents me. So yes, it's these men who are dressed up in clothes, but I don't want you to think that that's me, because that doesn't feel like it represents me. Then there's cross-dresser. There's all of these things as they came up, and you're just weighing out, hey, does that feel like it represents me? And for a long time, all there was cross-dresser. What does that mean? Does that mean that it has something to do with sexuality? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means it's somebody who crosses gender in their dressing. It's not about how often they do it. It's about that they're comfortable doing it. It's somebody who feels comfortable and healthy representing as the other gender. Not everybody is that way, and that's okay. But some people, they need to live outside the bounds of your expectation for them. The question is, are you
Love
okay with
knows
that?
no
Is
bounds.
it
That's right.
important to you that everybody act within your expectations of them? And who gets to pick what's expected of you exactly?
Right.
That's a question.
For 18 years, we have raised a great girl. He
Oh.
is now become an amazing young man.
Oh, That's so great. That's so strong. That child is so lucky. Such an
special,
inspiration. You see that all the other trans kids on here, you see how amazing that is, that there are people out there that will protect you and they will help you. Um, they just not everybody's got the information yet, but stay hopeful, stay strong because they're out there. You know, one of our, if you've watched some of our videos lately, there was one individual that put some really weird, mean stuff out there, and he did it on multiple videos. It wasn't like one ugly comment, it was one ugly comment, then another ugly comment, and another one on each video. He's saying these weird things. And I'm like, wow, why is he so hostile? And I went to his profile page, and he's a veteran. And number one, thank you for your service. And it has this proud flag behind him, and he's all vetted out. And I was just looking at that, going, my gosh, the pride. And in his comments, he was talking about me going in and infiltrating the school to rainbow flags and brainwashing and teaching sex and all of this weird stuff in school. But he's mentioned the flags multiple times. And I'm sitting there watching him in front of that flag, and I'm going, my gosh, when you were over there fighting, was that the only flag you fought for? Like, what did you fight for? Mm-hmm. Did you not fight for me to have the right to pick my own clothes in the morning, or for you to pick your own clothes in the morning? A flag, that flag, American flag, represents something special to me as well, by the way. But if you're somebody that's in the minority group, the gay and the trans population is such a small group. And if you're at Disneyland and you're looking for people like you, if there was a banner, a flag up, it would just represent, hey, that's my people. So when a flag's up at school for the small group of people that even catch it, it means, hey, okay, so there's my people right there. Okay, so I'm safe here. So there's a group here. They know I'm here. And it's just a way to find your community of like-minded people. It has nothing to do with recruiting or anything else. It's nothing more than a legend of, hey, if this flag is special, then come here, and we're just here. And it's nice to know that something is available to you. That flag, that's a rainbow in the trans flag.
We love you.
It just represents something to somebody who it's still important for them at that stage or that age to know that others like them are around. Yeah. Nobody wants to be the only one in any scenario. And it just says to other little people, it's okay, hang in there. You don't need to talk about it. You just know that it's okay here.
Thank you, Erica. How has your marriage been? You hear so many conflicting and false stories. By no means has our marriage been perfect. Has it been hard? Yes, because for the most part, we were doing it ourselves because we couldn't tell our family because it was against our religion, or we didn't want to tell our kids because we didn't know how they would react. We've had this stigma about our community, in our community, that we kind of sheltered ourselves to each other. And so, yeah.
When you say there's conflicting stories or dishonest stories or not true stories, how do you know they're not true? How do you know they're dishonest? It's definitely confusing because the transgender spectrum is so wide. You've got the whole boy side over here, you got the whole girl side over here. Some of these people are capable of operating over here. And so where they are on that spectrum is unique. That experience is unique to everybody in their progression of that. Maybe over here you're just a cross-dresser because that's the only access you have, just on weekends or whatever it is. But as access increases and you have the ability, to be more of who you want, you don't know yet what's going to fully satisfy you, where you're going to end up. So it is confusing because this transgender person saying this experience and this one's saying this experience, they're using the same pronouns, or they're saying the same experience but using different pronouns. And so it's like, oh my gosh, see, it's all a scam. They're not even on the same page with each other. And it's like, wait, hold the phone. What? Like what are you saying? They're all having their own unique experiences, and they're all somewhere different in their support group, in their understanding, in their confidence, in their self, evaluation. And so where they are in their journey is so different from everybody else. It is easy to understand why the stories are confusing or seem not to align, because the experiences and the support doesn't always align, especially not with the access they have.
Right. We have an author online here, our author Lulu. She wrote a book dedicated for anyone who has ever felt like they don't belong.
No.
What is that?
Thank
the
you.
children's book. What is that book called? I would love to have that because guess what? I have a grandchild now, and I
Mhm.
would love to let.
Yeah, what is the name of that book?
That's
We would love to support you and buy your book. Thank you for writing a book with a message that means something. You know, there's so much garbage that our kids can read and get into, and there's just so much available out there, and there's so few
Esperanza
people.
and Friends.
Esperanza and Friends. That's the name
I'm
of the book.
screenshotting that. Hurry fast.
Yeah, do it quickly. Thank you for writing a book that's about supporting people.
You're an amazing speaker. What's your educational background?
Um,
I'm from London.
Thank you, London, for being here. You know, here's the deal. I spent a lot of time in the University of Irvine.
Hold on, time out. This is great. This week, my son told me that she was transgender. Any advice where to start to help her?
Yeah, it's just an embrace. You
We
start.
have some stuff on our bio too.
Yeah, we have some stuff on our bio too, but I would
Newcastle.
embrace her, and I would just remember the whole time they're not telling you that just because they want you to call them something different. They're telling you that because they want to have a different relationship with you. And I would say to you, you're not losing the child that you had. That child's still there. Those memories are still there. But now all those memories that you planned on having, they're going to be much bigger and bolder than you even knew possible because now you'll be dealing with a child that you really understand, that you understand what motivates them or their passions, the claims of their affection, the interests they pursue. You're going to be able to support them so much better because of the bravery and courage they had to go to you and say, Mom and Dad, I'm safe with you and I need to have the best relationship possible. This is what I'm capable of.
You.
That's right.
That's so amazing. Now you can talk about your education. That was very important. Thank you. Be
My-
your child's hero.
There you go. So when I came home from Japan, for my mission, you know, I was 21 years old, and I needed to know what was going on. I needed to know how I was the only person feeling this, and what causes thinking like that. What causes someone to have appetites for things that they've never tasted, and for things to be familiar that have never been, you know, had. And I needed to understand habits, and I just, what I didn't have time for was to study or to learn anything that wasn't important to me. I couldn't imagine memorizing something that was important to some instructor or some kind of obligation that I had to get a credential. So I spent years in school. Where every time I wasn't at home, Andrea, you know, she knew I was at a library somewhere. But back there was not Google. You know
We
what there
have
was?
more boxes of books in our garage than any library around.
That's right, because there wasn't any Google, there was no internet. There was the Dewey Decimal System, and all of my evenings, and I just needed to find out, you know, what was going on, and so the truth is, I don't have any formal education at all. I don't have any degree, but years and years and years of just real study of those things that were important to me, and somewhere along the way, I just learned how people work and motivations and it's been a better education for me. It's held me back because I haven't had some degrees, but that's not what the universe had for me, apparently.
Katie had the best comment. She says, we're all spiritual beings. Our bodies are just a shell. We're all put on earth to learn.
There we go. Yeah, so I'm learning all I can, but I need to make it applicable. And you know, I spent the first so many years figuring out why. Why is the case? Is this a spiritual thing? Is this a genetic thing? Was this caused by vaccines? There's so many different possibilities, and I needed to understand all of those things. And the reality is, by the time I did years of study, I could prove that all of those things were real, and I could also disprove them.
Yeah.
And at the day, I just decided it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter why. The only thing that really matters is what will satisfy it, because it drives everything in my body. It drives everything in my life. So figuring out why was never gonna It was never going to give me the information I needed. I needed to know what would satisfy it, because that's where health lied. That's where peace lies. And so I quit. But I can sure share a lot of stuff about, I can validate it spiritually and chemically and genetically and statistically. I can support it in every way that makes you support your people better. I just don't need those crutches anymore for what I need to do.
Mike said when our daughter told us she wants to transition, he came out of a depression that was years long. I believe
Years
that
long.
100%.
Years long. How long do you want to, I don't know how it feels like to be a woman, but I know how
Thank you,
it feels
Tracy, for being
to have this boy body. It's like a Harry Potter cloak of invisibility. And it's like every time you meet somebody wearing this skin here, it's, hey, you'll never really know who I am. You'll never know what I'm capable of. You'll never know the magic that I have. You'll never know the things that are really most important. You'll never hurt what's most important, because you'll never know what it is. And you live your life in this cloak of invisibility, and it's lonely there, and it's scary there, and so I don't know what it feels like to be a girl, but I know how it feels to be beautiful.
Thank you
And
for the
everything
basketball.
feels right about that to me.
People are saying that we use card catalogs too. It's so true. All right. They want to know your skincare routine. You don't look 50. And thank you, Tracy, for being here. That was nice of you. Do you have a good skincare routine?
Well, yes, your routine. I mean, Andrea, she's a master esthetician, so she gives me all my products, facials, all the, I use good moisturizers, even good glosses. We use a lot of image stuff, a lot of, we keep our face very, very clean. And I think it's,
Hi, Monroe.
yeah,
Thank you for subscribing.
I don't know. Let's see, the person with transgender said, yeah, I just don't know where to start. I thought she needed counseling, but I don't know. Ask her. Ask her if she needs
She
counseling.
might want it.
Yeah. Hey, is that
She might
something
not
that
know
would
it's
be
a thing.
interesting to you? Would you like to, to go talk to somebody and just let them know? Maybe there's things that you'd like to say out loud that you're not sure quite yet how I would respond to it. Would it be helpful for you to talk to somebody else? If there's some therapeutic value when you talking to someone else, I can make that happen. But if that's not where you are, if you're still more private and you still need more privacy to figure it out before you explain it to anybody, then you're still at the right place. Because I'll keep all your secrets, and you're safe here. And, if you think that you may need someone to talk to later, I can arrange that. So I would just let them know that everything's possible, which is really what transgender is. I figured when I came out, I thought that people would go,
the rose.
gosh, look at that. Everything is possible.
Thank you.
You figure out who you want to be, and everything is possible. I don't have any more excuses for not being the person that I want to be, because look, they've just proved everything is possible. And it wasn't that response at all. It's just criticism. And I think it's because they don't want to admit that everything's possible, because then that would mean that they would have to do something different if they wanted something different. And no one wants to be accountable for that. It's just so much easier to criticize and judge other people where they are in their journey than it is to get better on your journey. So,
we sit and tell our kids, you can be who you want to be. If you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, be a lawyer. If you want to be trans, be trans. It's just, and Naomi said, I just hope one day we can all live, love, and have no bullying, no hate, no judgy people, and no war.
yeah, right.
We all long for that day.
And it should start with this. Does everyone get the right to dress themselves in the morning? That's the only question. Let's start with that question. Do people have the right to dress themselves in the morning? If it's a yes, then everything else will work itself out. If it's a no, then we need to dig into that deeper. Then this is not the country. This is not the freedom. This is not the social responsibility that we have. If that child has to be unhappy because you don't think that they should be wearing a dress, that's a problem.
She thought she would go straight to the hospital and she'd be transitioned.
Oh, hope is like that. Just give it to me now. Just give it to me now. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Mm-hmm.
The good news is that it is available. And
Yeah.
and there's just a process. That's all. And once you understand the process and the health benefits of that process, you'll be grateful that it's not at all available right now, because there's so many magical things and aha moments that are going to happen between now and that transition. And if it was all like this, you would miss being in all of those moments and appreciating that, because all of those moments strung together, that creates who you are. And you don't want to miss that at all. You don't want to just boom, have it be done. You want to organically grow and develop that person into exactly the person that you want them to be.
Someone said really cute. You're a rogue scholar. I met a few LDS in my days in the military, and they were always great communicators.
Ooh.
Huh, I haven't heard
Ooh.
that. Wow, we have people. Oh, Happy Dead Pixel on Twitch. Thank you
Yay.
for being here.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
love that we have a couple people over there.
That's great. Yeah, you know what? LDS people
Oh,
are
you're such a good
typically
person.
extremely
Sure
generous
can.
people, because that is a culture of service, and it's a culture of respect. It's a culture of prayer and meditation. Um, you know, it's and I got so much out of that when we were participating in that. You know, that those are the things we got out of it. I mean, we were active and engaged for 40 years, and all of a sudden it's interesting that all of a sudden we're going, hey, all of a sudden Caitlyn Jenner's out and this transgender, it's a thing, and we're not alone. And then all of a sudden the church drew a line in the sand and said, wait a minute, that thing, no, that's a bad thing. And so these ordinances and these privileges are not set aside for those people. And so just one day, for no reason other than a term got put in a dictionary and they had to understand it, some things were not available to us. So when that happened, I mean, that's okay. But we didn't leave the church. The church left us. It just was no longer the right place for me to worship, or any LGBT person, because the reality is, regardless if it's a good church, a bad church, a right church, a wrong church, everybody deserves to believe that their creator is happy with them, and nobody would be healthy, mentally healthy, if they woke up every morning going, nope, my creator's disappointed me today, and he has been the whole time. The church just didn't know to tell me how wrong I was. And so, all these days on the earth, all the frustration, all of what I put into it, the whole time God's just been disappointed in me and unhappy with me. And so he's taken away these things. And so none of that felt right to me personally. And so we had to pick a community that allowed me to believe that my creator is indeed very happy with me and grateful for me. And I believe that because he created me and he knows what I'm capable of and he knows what he expects from me. And I'm just not capable of burying my talents to support a business model of a church that doesn't understand. That's the way it goes. At some point, I think they're going to understand, and they're going to have another aha moment. Just like Bruce R. McConkie had when God said, well, with regards to the blacks, we were acting at a time before we had the light, and information that we currently have. Well, you needed to be told that, blacks are okay. Like, that had to come. You weren't just capable of just going, well, they're good, right? Like, since we haven't received information about this, shouldn't we just let them in? No, no, no. And they're going to come back and say, hey, look, sorry about the whole trans thing. We had no idea that this was such a thing and such a real thing, and that there's no curing it. All there is really high suicide rates.
People don't know what you're talking about.
And yeah,
some of them don't, but it's okay.
Yeah. The bottom line is, there's a lot of people on here right now. We can tell in the comments that are from the LDS community
or former,
and simply explaining that's a beautiful people. And once that thinking didn't support us, we felt comfortable leaving, and
yeah,
it's been all the wiser.
And we did get married in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I left the church and can't go back. I have a child out of wedlock. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry you feel that way. That's probably where your traditions are. The truth is, you'd probably be treated, great if you went back. But I don't know the comfort of the people who support you and what they're willing to do and accommodate you. So my advice to you would be, pick a community that supports you and accept that.
Trinity said, I'm sending y'all a package soon.
Wow, thank you, Trinity.
That's cute, Trinity.
Yeah, that is cute. Our information, the PO box is on the bio page, the link bio page.
Yes. So fun.
Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful. That's That's incredibly thoughtful. We'd love to make a little video of that. That would be super special.
Thank you for the wishing.
What is that? Is that a lamp? Rubbing like a lamp.
Oh
What is
my
that?
gosh, I need new glasses, babe.
Baby,
We
you
need to
you're the eyes here.
I know.
You
I
can't
know.
see, we're in real trouble. Like if there's a
Well,
fire, I don't think we're getting out of here.
Our kids can help us guide the way, probably. Just
Holy
follow the
moly.
cat out. We'll be fine. There's so many good comments. We're all God's children, regardless of gender or preferences.
Isn't that true?
Yes,
Isn't
thank
that true?
you so much for your compliment. Can't blame the church. That's not what we're doing.
No,
That's
no, no,
for
no. We don't blame the
sure.
church at all. Not at all. In fact, I don't talk negative from the church in front of my children because
You don't blame the
it's
church, you blame the
it's
people.
it's still the business rules are the business rules no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody should pick a church or a community that supports their belief system and helps them be the best people they can be. And if a system doesn't support that with their business practices then it'd be the individual's responsibility to find a group that does. So I'm not blaming the church for anything at all. I'm just
And
simply saying it's not going to be a healthy place for some people. That's all.
yeah, and it's like, why would you go somewhere you're not like loved or accepted? It's kind of hard for me to go somewhere where not only my spouse is not accepted, but I'm not accepted because I support my spouse. And I loved everything about the church except for, I'm true to myself, and I don't have bad things to say about
Yeah.
it. We just weren't for them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nope.
We do have
One of the
kids,
most amazing
and people are
ever.
asking, yes, her eyes are naturally that beautiful and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you, baby.
What glasses
you.
brand are these? Oh, geez, I need glasses to read my glasses.
Well, the irony.
Addie
there's some
didn't
leaders.
bring the case up. I don't know. I can't read with my
Prescription glasses.
yeah.
Let's
Yes.
see.
Are you a woman all the time? I am. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't get the opportunity to present all the time because there's so much to do here in my everyday life. I've got to take the carpool to school, and I've got to take people to work, and I've got to do a lot of things where we're not out there trying to make a statement in the community because our children still have to survive in this community, and so no, it's not the right time to live as Alyssa, all the time, and I don't know if it will ever be the right time to live all the time. But it's the right time to learn and live as much as I can, as much as is healthy for everybody. I didn't get to dress hardly at all the first 50 years of my life, so everything I get to do now is just super bonus, right? So
someone watched our TikTok video about when we went to the rock shop,
and
they're asking if it's near Laverkin.
it is not exactly near Laverkin.
But it's
yeah, so
past-
no.
No, it's not. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say kind of, but no, I guess not.
I think it's a different rock shop. We probably should go and look.
Oh, thank you. I can't read. Jackie 8520. My favorite TikTok couple. Thank you.
Well, I have three. What's it say? I have three LGBT in my family. I love them like I love everyone else.
Aw,
They are
so
not different.
sweet.
They are something great. Wow, good. How special is that? How special is that? How nice to feel loved.
Yeah. How did you feel to put on your first real wig? Did you just want to shake it and flip it?
Yes.
Get a fan and blow your hair like.
The answer is yes, but what I love is just touching the real hair. And man, if I could have like long hair like this, that would just be a dream. However, I love the ability to change the wigs and change the colors and the cuts, and I love the flexibility of that. I love that when I'm creating who I am that day, that I have so much say in who I am, and I get to just deliberately have the day that I created right first thing in the morning. And I don't even always have those deliberate creations as Kevin.
Yes. Sorry, I have to keep
Are we
reading.
to a couple? Yes, we're married. We've been married for 25 years.
Yes.
It's my wife. We have 3 kids, 22 and mid-teens.
Teens.
Teen.
They're our team, though.
18. Let's see. It seems not fair to your wife. Yeah, right? I mean, isn't that so true?
It wasn't that she wasn't honest. That's not it at all.
But I understand your perspective, and yeah, that would be such a blow. And again, it wasn't me hiding anything. It was me, hey, I feel like this, and as access has been available, we've both comfortably did what we wanted as access became available, and we moved at the organic speed of life. And it didn't go as fast for me sometimes, and it went way too fast for her other times. And it's just about constantly gearing down or gearing up to try to keep yourself going the same direction at the speed that's good for the other one. So yeah, it does seem unfair, and I get that, and I feel terrible for the difficulties that it causes her. But we also have some special advantages as well, I think.
But here's the thing, as a spouse, I felt sorry for him having to be kind of in her own little world with me sometimes. And I say sometimes because it was only here and there on vacation, or if I was able to take the kids for more than an hour, she could dress here and there. But it wasn't like I was caught off guard or anything like that. Okay, I gotta be nice. I'm sorry. I wanna.
Yeah, so I understand, and thank you for recognizing how difficult that is for her. You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah.
It's so difficult,
I just
and
felt
not
bad
many
for
people could have
her.
done it.
I had to
And
put myself in her
she's a
situation,
she's a
type
home
of
run.
thing, for me to really kind of understand where she was coming from. So when I was putting myself in her situation, it was like, holy crap, I would hate to have to not feel like a girl. Like, I would hate to not be able to put lipstick on and curl my hair. I would feel bad. But then there's me on the other side as a cis person married to a male. I was like, what does this mean for me? So we started going through the transition together, and as it unfolded, I was able to understand it and be more comfortable with it because I was more understanding, and I kind of had to put myself in her shoes, which she has had to put herself in my shoes as well. She has made it clear to me. I've made it clear to her where we are in the situation. So, and it's working.
It's working. It doesn't mean it's going to work forever.
Yeah.
We have bounds. We don't know where it's going to go, but I mean, we started this journey 2 months ago, for crying out loud. But we don't have the answers, but we're committed to get through all of the questions and then see where we end up. But I mean, neither one of us lost our rights. We still have the ability to stay or go or do what we need to do. But right now, what is healthy for all of us is to be together and to function and support one another. And it's working out great. It's working out unbelievable, which is kind of why we're out here, to show that healthy living is possible regardless of everybody else's expectations for your life.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, we've been doing this for 20 plus years, but we've only been public for the last few months. Our kids
That's
have known
right.
for a few years. Our family has known for a few years, but we haven't been able to be ourselves in our city, state, community, whatever you want to call it. So, yes. And okay, I'm going to skip.
But how
past
great
some
is
of
she
those
to go outside of the
questions.
state, to accommodate these things when access was available? I mean, how amazing is that to say, hey, look, I understand these things are important to you, and understand that we're going to have to go way out of our way to do them, and it's probably pretty expensive. But let's do that because your experiences, your mental health, who you are is worth it. And we made those things happen. And, it's give and take.
Yeah.
But how special is she to be able to tolerate that and deal with that when we felt like we were the only ones in the world that were even having to go through that reality?
Yeah. Yep.
What I have is wonderful. Oh my gosh, so wonderful. Thank you for noticing that and recognizing her. She's an absolute
Yes.
queen. She's an absolute queen.
Well, thank
Wife
you.
of the
We're
century.
both queens.
Facts.
Hmm.
Facts.
We're queens.
If you're
coming up on
XY
our
outside
2
STEM,
years.
cell
2
transphobia
hours.
is genetics. You're a male. That's kind of a that's kind of a thin question. Actually, that's not true at all. And it's interesting that it wasn't that long ago we figured that out. You know, it was only in 2006, I believe it was 2006, that the doctor in Switzerland had a farming family that was their patients, and all three of the sons all had the X marker, right? So you would expect that to be in the girl, and all three boys had that. So you know, we're understanding stuff about genetics that we didn't know, and so what turns on what switches is really, it's not concrete yet. What matters is that some people have switches turned on, and those people deserve to be happy, and those people deserve to pick their own clothes out and pick the routines of their life. That's all.
What was the moment that made y'all finally want to go public? And thank you for doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
You know, we just want to be a support. I have an unfair advantage of the support that I have in my life, and if we don't do something, that people are going to lump in transgender with all the grossest stuff they're trying to push through, and they're going to say, look, we're doing it, you have to take this training because now there's this transgender training, we're trying to respect this group, and so we're going to talk about sex and sex with this and do this, and this is normal, and you know, all of these,
Thank you.
you know,
Amanda,
animations that are inappropriate, and I don't want anyone being able to create any
Danish
weird
girl
training in the guise of, hey, no, we're helping, you know, get you more visibility or acceptance. I don't need the visibility, you know, or acceptance. I just need to know that it's okay that I dress myself every single day, and I should have the same protections that everybody else has, you know, in life. That's all. There doesn't need to be a bunch of rules. There doesn't need to be a bunch of laws. There shouldn't be any transgender women playing with cisgender women in sports, because that's not about identity. That's about ability, and identity is not about ability. So I think we separate those two because they're two different issues altogether. You know, you identify as an animal. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. You know, this is about gender identity, and everybody should get to pick the way they describe themselves.
This is a good one. And I kind of want to answer this first, even though it's to you.
Yes. No, you.
Question.
It's better for you to.
Your wife has been so understanding of your needs. How do you tend to her needs? Well, this is good because she is feminine and she is the girl part of her life. She kind of understands what I need. And yeah, sometimes I have to remind her. And yes, sometimes she has to remind me. So she understands that taking time to get ready or taking too long to get ready is okay. Or I understand that you might need some alone time. I might need to give her alone time. She's kind of like my best girlfriend, where she can see, hey babe, are you all right? Hey, I can kind of tell, are you okay? What do you want to talk about it? Let's work things out. Let's you know, I won't say anything if you just need to talk. So she's good about knowing and doing when she sees something that needs to be done.
Thank you, babe. Wow.
But yeah,
that's good. You know, and the reality is that we're very close, and it's not just all, you know, purses and shopping and lip gloss. You know, that's not what it is. That's another reason I'm not transitioning full time, because, you know, we both agree that she married a man, and she needs a man, and she needs to feel that protection. She needs to know that I'm capable of protecting and providing for our family, and also, you know, she has expectations that you know, that I want to be able to fulfill, you know, with intimacy. So, you know, the reality is I can do all of those things and still look, you know, like this. And even though it's not amazing, it's amazing to me. and it's a much more honest representation of how I feel on the inside than if I was sitting here in a ball cap, and a tight shirt, with boxing gloves or whatever. So, I still live a very when I'm Kevin, I'm Kevin, and we're going all in on Kevin. But when I'm Allyssa, it's like Kevin that's got a much different smile and much different tolerances and more interested in texture and life and variety and all of the beautiful things that I believe every minute is worth living for.
Someone saw our video about getting our pedicures done.
Oh yeah.
And they asked, is that the first time you've gone out in the community here?
Yes, it is here.
Publicly,
Yes, it is here. And it was so smooth. We went out and we
Yeah.
got the pedicures afterwards. We drove through Chick-fil-A. The person taking the order was, this young kid. And he was so respectful and like, yeah, okay, chicken, poultry, okay, got it, yeah. And he was very, very polite. Everybody, nobody was tricked, but everybody was respectful. And that feels great. Again, the problem is not the younger people. The problem is it's not the younger
Sure.
generation that is going to be a problem for anybody. It's the older generation who just never had to experience it, and now they're going, this doesn't make sense that they're everywhere, and we're going, yeah, it makes sense, and it's everywhere, and it's been a long time coming, and so it's taken some flexibility and
Good
thinking that not
question,
everybody
yeah.
has.
My daughter is 22 and just came out to me a month ago. What was your biggest early hurdle?
Biggest early hurdle or biggest early victory?
Well, either way, you answer it how you
Um,
want.
Hurdle. Access was the biggest hurdle. Access was always the biggest hurdle. Even
Thank you,
before we
Mitch,
got
for
married, it
being
was
here.
so difficult to dress and find the privacy and that the biggest win, right? The earliest win was probably getting my ears pierced, and it was just right after I came home. I think from my mission in Japan, I was probably 21 or 22, and I got those pierced, and that changed, like literally that rocked my world. That changed everything for me. It was the most amazing thing, and I've never regretted it.
Yeah, my two favorite.
Um,
I'm so glad you're here, Mitch.
would I be considered gender fluid? Sure, you can call me gender fluid if that's a comfortable term for you. I have to live in both worlds. Rather not, that's good for me. It's good for my family, which makes it good for me. Is I rather gender fluid, transgender? It doesn't matter. Gender expansive. I'm all of those things. To me, transgender is anybody that feels comfortable and safe and healthy representing in the other gender's clothing. And if that's something that's meaningful
Thank
to
you
you,
for
then
the
you're probably
TikTok
somewhere on the
symbol.
scale. It doesn't mean it doesn't have anything to do with the amount of time you spend dressed. It does
Wow,
has
thank you.
something to do with the amount of time that you spend wanting to dress and needing to dress, because that's what makes you whole. But
Yeah,
but your ability to dress and the availability, they don't always align.
yeah.
So I would consider myself gender fluid. That term is fine for me. Um,
If you want to talk to us one-on-one sometime, you can go in our profile and you tell them how to link.
yeah, just go to our profile. We have Discord there, or you can, follow us here and direct messages here. Guys, we're putting a platform together where we provide education and training perspective. We're not trying to tell anybody how to think. We're just trying to give more people information and perspective so they can make the right decisions, for their families and for the community. And I am looking for some LGBTQ friendly artists that can help us with some clip art and some illustrations and things that I'm trying to put together on a budget, small budget.
Are
Emphasis
you
on
wearing
small
a
budget.
wig?
So if you know anybody that can help us put some of those illustrations together, it would be so amazing for everybody. It'd be a really neat way to be the grease, not the gravel of the universe.
Sure Chance said that she asked her daughter if she wanted to get her ears pierced, and she lit up. And so this weekend they're gonna go.
Yay!
So
It's such a small thing, but it's such a big thing. It's something that says, look. This represents more of me than you ever thought the ball glove did, or whatever. That's such an important piece. So good for you for supporting her that way.
a follower said my daughter came out as trans woman at 30, and it was her best birthday ever.
Best birthday ever.
Wow.
Those
That's
experiences,
so exciting.
so great.
Wow.
Congratulations on that. Let's see.
And definitely you can email us, all that fun stuff. Our kids have been supportive. Oh,
I've been a cross-dresser in the closet for a year. What was it? Can you go back to
for a
this?
year.
In the closet.
I've-
For a year, wife has say go for it, but I'm so scared.
Um,
It's scary. Yeah, if you don't have a body type that fits in a lot of girl clothes and you don't know how to do makeup and all, every piece is scary. So if she's giving you, the okay, then I would brave up and at least, for moments at a time, figure out how important it is to you. Because if it's not that important enough to brave up and do it with support, then I would probably say, figure out something different. But if she's allowing you to do it and she's willing to support you, why wouldn't you just see what satisfies you? Isn't that the most important thing? Is what satisfies you? Be whole, be authentic, offer her something that's healthy. Don't not take advantage of it and then beat her to death because you're just unhappy and unhealthy. If she's gonna offer it, then I would say give yourself every chance to be healthy so that you can treat her the same way.
How did you know you were a woman? I'm not sure about my gender.
Um, oh, I don't know that I'm a woman. I don't know if I feel like a woman because I don't know what it feels like to be a woman. I never had a menstrual cycle or had a baby, or I was never vulnerable and had to compete with other girls to try to get a date to the prom. I've never really, I've never had to deal with all of those things. I just know how it feels to have a body that every time you meet somebody, you just feel like you're invisible. And hey, look, I'm meeting you, I'm shaking your hands, I'm gonna be very respectful and polite, but we're never gonna be close because you'll never know what's important. You'll never really know who I am. You'll never know the important stuff, so you can never hurt me. And it's not fun to go around your whole life wearing this suit of invisibility. So what I know is how it feels to be somebody that really internally feels beautiful and pretty and feels like this is just a more honest representation of how they are, how they feel inside. That's all. I can't take anything away from women. I don't know what that's like. I just know that I really appreciate some of the routines that we share, and I have maybe a little different perspective with some things. That's all.
Someone asked earlier if we have similar tastes in our clothes. I think we kind of do. We kind of I've been able to wear her clothes. She's been able to wear some of my clothes. And if I forget my clothes or makeup when she used to live in Vegas, I would be like, I would forget my swimsuit all the time. And my makeup. Like, hello. And I just keep on driving. That's okay. I'll wear Alyssa's. And she's so good to share. So good. She's like, please, just please wear this. She's so good. So,
But those sizes are not that close anymore. It's just so I mean,
well, that's not the.
I would have to go in the
not-
POW that because you're just so little now.
No.
So
That's
I
not
love
the
that.
point. The point
I
is
know.
we have pretty similar tastes, and we see things and go, this is you.
Mm-hmm.
No, this one's you. You should try this.
Yeah, we do come home with a lot of stuff for each other. That is true. That may be a difference between a lot of relationships, is that it's common for us to come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I saw this. This is gonna be perfect on you. I couldn't not get it 'cause I knew you were gonna love it."
I have so many clothes.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of clothes just because we kind of
Who
know
purchases
each other
the clothes? We both do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that we're able to go out more together, it's more fun to go shopping because as we're looking, when I was by myself shopping, I would see them and go, gosh, I don't know if she would like this or not. Should I get it? And then I buy it and it wouldn't be as cute as we wanted or, oh, it was perfect. But it's more fun now that we're together because we can like, hey, you like this one? It's in my size. In my size. So it's been fun. I don't know whose style is more prevalent. I think we just kind of both have our own, like, clothes fit her different than me because of she's got a better booty, better legs,
Oh, get out of here with that.
and I'm less broad of shoulders. So some things we just wear because it fits. And
But I would say your style is much more congruent and you have a much different style because not different but better because there's almost always something that fits in your size. If you see an article that you like,
Don't say that.
it's going to fit in your
It
size.
might
Work.
fit, but it won't
But in
look
my size, there's so few things that have really
so
huge
wide
shoulders and
shoulders,
this
yeah.
and sleeves that would work. Usually the sleeves of girls' shirts, you can only, a raccoon can get their paw through, and that's the only thing. So there's so much that limits my clothes that her wardrobe is probably a much better wardrobe, fashion-wise, because she can often find what she really wants to wear, and I'm going to take just whatever fits, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. Do you go to drag shows? Yes.
Yeah, when we were in Vegas,
very much.
when we were in Vegas, we enjoyed a lot of drag shows. We saw, Frank Marino's show, multiple times. It's very, very professional. But it's just it was a place that I could go and feel safe dressed, and
Yeah.
it was a place that I risked nothing to be. So it allowed me to dress and go someplace with other people and have fun and laugh and interact and be social, without putting myself or my family in any kind of dangerous situation, environment wise.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't text and talk. I'm trying to answer some questions as we go. I find it hard to find. It says dead that fit. Maybe pants or shoe. I don't know.
So if there's anybody that capable of doing illustrations, I have a story and experience that I really want illustrated, as part of the training that we're doing. So if anybody is just amazing at doing illustrations, and maybe I can even tell the story. Maybe I should just tell the story, and then so you can see if that's something that you'd be willing to illustrate. But if you're an illustrator or interested in that, please, let me know so we can talk, and we'll. But I do have a pretty important message that I think is going to be impactful for a lot of people. And if you're capable of illustrating that story, then, or a story, then reach out and I can share that story with you. Or maybe I'll just, say it live. Are there any other questions before we wrap up? I know it's getting late. Kiddos need to
we
go
have
down.
some people who are going to email us, so
Okay.
we're going to keep an eye on that.
Thank you for the lights.
We might try
lights, the
local
hearts.
university. We should do that and look for students who can do the artwork for us as well. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm jealous of y'all's relationship. I wish I could find someone so special.
Oh, we are very fortunate.
We are so fortunate, you guys.
We're very lucky, and
So thank you
and
for
this-
saying that.
that's right. Thank you for recognizing that how much we love each other, but make no mistake about it. There was just as many fights and disappointments and anger and
Don't
everything
call me
else.
out like that.
No, I was calling myself out. No, I was calling myself.
No, I'm totally joking.
Everyone knows you're an angel.
Oh,
Everyone knows
please,
that you're the
please don't
you're the
lie to our
secret-
to our
you're the
followers.
secret weapon. They
You're
already know
so
that.
sweet. Thank you.
But it is a struggle. But it's worth struggling for, just like your relationship.
Yes.
It may not be exactly how you thought it would go, but it's probably going to end up being better. You're going to find out that you had been underplaying it the whole time.
Ooh, have you had electrolysis or laser?
I have had some electrolysis
Hey,
on my
Will
face,
Scout.
and that's just mostly painful more than anything. So I guess I probably did 6 or 7 sessions. And I think I probably am a lot thinner,
Mm-hmm.
but it was very painful. I think there's got to be another solution.
Laser hair removal is good, but if you are out there wanting to do laser hair removal, do it now before you turn gray, because the laser will not be attracted to that gray hair or blonde hair. It has to be dark, thick, coarse, the better. And Allyssa did have some laser hair removal when I was working at a medical spa, and it helped thin it out, but she had already had some grays, so those won't go away, only if she did electrolysis again.
50 years old.
So she does a good close
Yeah,
shave.
if I could have gone back, then at maybe age 40 or 45, I would have done the laser at that time when I had darker
Yeah.
hair, because it would have been good.
Yeah. I don't know where this jacket is probably like 10 years old. I'm having to get out my old clothes because I'm seeing myself on video of the same outfits. But my daughter, Addie, who was on before today, thank you, Addie. She went with me to the store. She took me out of my comfort zone. I bought some pants that I would have never even tried on, let alone bought. But thank you. I got a lot of new fun things.
It's good.
Okay, daughter
Well,
does digital artwork. Okay.
Any final questions before we shut her down for the night?
Yes.
Guys, I've appreciated
I
you
think
being
we're
here.
good.
It's been so fun. We have such a great community.
Yes,
So
thanks,
many
you
amazing
guys.
comments on our videos. So much support. So much love and appreciation for my family. So much you understand the sacrifice and just the flexibility that's required. For these
It goes
situations
both ways.
to exist in harmony and thank you for your support and
Yes.
and for being here with us.
And if we didn't get to your questions, please go and ask them in our bio and stuff, because we can go back and answer them, and it might be a little more in depth and in detail. So please go and do that.
Absolutely. Hey, Wednesday, we're going to be on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm so excited for Wednesday because we have a parent of a transgender teenager that's going to be joining us and giving us kind of that perspective, giving us a little bit of insight into that world and the challenges and complications that exist in their home. And it's going to be so cool to be able to learn of those experiences and to hear those things. It's going to be helpful for all of us. So please come on a Wednesday where we can go through some of the details of that life and how we can support families better.
We have a question from a mom whose son-in-law came out as trans. I'm heartbroken.
She's heartbroken.
I don't know if it's a she.
Right. What are you heartbroken about? Like what is it that breaks your heart with that? I know there's gonna be a tremendous, it feels like you're losing a child, but once you really get in and do some digging and understand the statistics, then you'll understand how close you are to losing a child. And the fact that they came to you is saying, hey, I want to be here and I want to be here with people that love me and support
The
me.
loss for her
And
daughter.
and I want to know you in a much, much different way. So I understand that that's going to be hard because you had all of these experiences that you had already assigned to that individual and these experiences that we're going to have. But the reality is, those experiences can be so much sweeter than you even knew possible because you created those memories of the future before you had all the information that you needed. You didn't know really who that person was or what they valued, and now you get to have experiences knowing exactly who they are and what they value and what's important, and you get to guide them and coach them through those experiences, and it's going to be received so differently. So congratulations on having a trans person in your life. They're lucky to have you. Don't be heartbroken because you have no idea yet the joy and life that they're going to give you. You're going to see
your daughter's husband came out as trans. That's what it is.
Your daughter's husband came out
Loss
trans.
for my daughter.
They need to realize trans and the same sexuality. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
I know where you're coming from because for a while people would ask me, are you mourning Kevin? Do you mourn Kevin? And for a long time I felt like I kind of had to because I wanted her to be her, but I also had these experiences with Kevin. But I had to come to the realization that those experiences weren't going to be lost. I had to put those in a memory box and journal up lots of pictures, scrapbooking, and I've transitioned into doing that with Allyssa, and it's going to be hard, but in the end, it's going to be really rewarding for that person if the other person is willing to be there. And that's the question for that person. That person has to be ready, willing, may not have the answer yet. She might not, the trans spouse might not be able to answer, can I stay right now? She might need to, or he might need to be able to be put in the situation for her to decide or he to decide, because I couldn't answer that question until I was here. And that's what Allyssa and I talked about for a long time. I don't know how I'm going to react when Allyssa is 100%. I've never been there. So let's see. I'm not going anywhere now. Let's play it out. Let's get the feel for everything and see how we come about. But yeah.
And whether that ever gets to 100%, who knows? You
Right,
know, I mean,
right.
back before we knew that it was a thing, you know, we had an agreement, we had an arrangement that she would say, "Hey, look, I'm okay with you doing it and being who you need to be, but I need Kevin 50% of the time. So if you can agree to give Kevin 50% time, then I can give up the other 50, but you need to be willing to give up 50 as well." And that made
It's
sense to
different
me.
now.
Yeah, it made sense to me, but back then I was living 1 or 2% as Kevin, and so I'm like, 50%, that sounds amazing. But the truth is, you know, we're not at 50% even right now, and we got to see how it plays out, what the health is for everybody. But what I'm not interested in doing is going further than is good for me, you know, further than is good, you know, for us. So yeah, transgender is
An
not a function of
emotional
how
safe place.
often you can dress
Yeah,
because you're driven all of the time.
right.
It's about keeping the important things important and being as honest and authentic as you can. You know, for most people, they get to do that 100%. For me, that's not a reality, at least at this point.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta
Okay.
thank your followers.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for the rose. We're at 16. Holy cow.
Wow,
16K
thank you.
followers.
We are at 16,000.
We just got
We got 1,000
notification.
followers since our pedicure video. That's amazing.
Thanks for the rose.
Guys, thank you
Amber.
for
Love
the
you.
support, the roses, the hearts, just being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying, you know, keeping the mean people at bay. You know,
Thank
there's
you for
so
the little
many people that
crown
are just listening
and the
to us,
perfume,
trying to decide if they're
the
going to be brave
TikTok.
enough to live their best life, and you give them hope that their best life is possible. And so I'm just so grateful for you and for making this journey so much sweeter for my family. And we can't wait to see you on Wednesday.
Our kids,
Thank you so much for
we
being
have a
here.
question. Our kids
Yes.
do have our TikTok and they've been on here. So if you're not familiar, you can go watch some of the videos. And we have our daughters in there some of the
They're so
time.
cute. My
Thank
gosh,
you
they're
so
cute.
much, you guys.
Thank you.
Everyone's been amazing.
Thank you for the
And
questions.
thanks
We'll
for
see
all the
you.
moderators.
Oh, yes. Been great. This is our very first piece of jewelry after Andrea gave
Oh.
my name. It says Andrea and Alyssa.
That's right. I
on-
have
on the
one too.
sides.
I
Yeah.
need to wear it. I
So,
hate necklaces. They choke me.
guys, thank you for being here. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes.
Can't wait to
You
see you on
guys are
Wednesday.
awesome.
Have an amazing
Love
couple
you,
of days.
Michelle. Thank you.
Bye bye. Let's see.
I stink.